The light tank pulls ahead. It seems it's the fastest here. Or was. The Panther is now in the lead, and it leaps forward, right into the abyss. The new leader activates their shield, and I hope their insurance covers that. Next, are you new here? Welcome to Neon Dash. This is a very simple, friendly racing contest. You'll easily reach the finish line and will never be flipped over, rammed, destroyed, annihilated, or disintegrated. Not once. Don't believe it? Then check for yourself during 2 April weekends. The races will last only 6 days, so set a reminder. Enter the game on weekends and gather a platoon of friends to push and shove in your fight for first place. In the races, you won't spend credits for shells, repairs, or any other nonsense, so play however you like in any vehicle. Race, complete special missions, and get rewards. Persistent racers won't go away empty-handed. But it's not about the result, it's about the process. Each race features up to 30 vehicles. The format is everyone for themselves. Vehicles of any tier are allowed except for standard tier limitations for platoons. All vehicles are much faster than usual, but don't rush to hop into your fastest tank. You need to reach the finish line first, but don't drive like your dinner is getting cold there. There are obstacles around every turn, and instead of the fastest, the coolest and most careful will be the ones to pass them. As long as no one stops them, and you can and want to stop them. Shots don't cause damage, but transfer momentum to the target. In short, they push. Is your opponent navigating a hard obstacle? Force them to go faster. If they fall into the abyss, they will respawn at a checkpoint in 3 seconds. And that's an eternity in a race. If you're getting shot at, enable your shield. It will grant you several seconds of invulnerability. The next ability is Dash. It has so many uses. Ram an opponent, accelerate on a straight stretch, overcome an obstacle. Use it how you like, just don't jump into the abyss. Or do. Who are we to stop you? If the track has beaten you rather than you it, you can go back to the checkpoint by pressing J. This is handy when you don't want to waste even more time. You can't be first all the time, so don't sweat it if you come 5th or 10th. The main thing is just to finish the race. It's up to you whether you take it easy or pull out all the stops for the podium. Play how you like. There'll be 2 launches on April 18th and 25th. Here's the starting line, and the finishing one lies somewhere ahead. Sounds simple until you try it. Fuel up your tank, turn on your interior neon lights, and start your engines. What's up, tankers? Let's get our teeth into the best scouts and raiders on tracks, or wheels. That's right, light tanks. To get the most from these nippy little vehicles, you'll need to practice and to brush up on view range and concealment. Not long ago, we did some videos about those, so check them out if you need to. The links are in the description. Lights are often quick and tricky to spot, and they can have high-caliber howitzers or even autocannons. Low-tier lights don't have rolls, and calling them scouts would be a stretch. They're versatile, and their characteristics can vary a lot, and so can their armor. You can fight in them like a medium or sometimes even a heavy tank. From about Tier 5 or 6 upward, that's no longer the case. At that point, you start getting some real niche specialists. They're raiders and scouts that spot for teammates. Lights also gain a shared trait. They can move without it affecting their concealment. Whether standing or moving, you still won't get spotted before the same distance. This vehicle class only has two roles: tracked versatile light tanks and wheeled ones. First, let's deal with the Old Faithful, and then later we'll get to the wheeled lights and how they differ from their tracked classmates. Light tank gameplay depends less on the role and more on your own play style. Think of it in terms of passive and active. Passive players settle in and capitalize on their concealment. Active ones monopolize the map with their movement. Any light tank can play both ways. You can set yours for either passive, active, or somewhere in between. So how do you prepare a scout for battle? First, a lick of paint. Any camo on a vehicle's hull boosts its permanent concealment bonus, which is vital for a light tank. The more, the better. Train crew perks that improve view range and concealment. Keep your radio operator on your radar. They have a few good perks that are very handy for light tanks. More perks than slots, in fact, so choose wisely. As for consumables, food ones will pad you out in all the right areas: view range, concealment, and firepower. Equipment can improve your scouting ability, making you harder to spot or boost your firepower. Mix and match to suit your playstyle. A good scout will want coated optics and commander's vision system mounted. For passive spotting or for mid-tier lights, consider binocular telescope. If you want a ninja on tracks, then mount low-noise exhaust system. If you also want to focus on shooting, consider something like a rammer or stabilizer. Improved ventilation gives you a little all-round boost. In place of turbocharger, you can equip the mobility improvement system respectively to bolster your ride that bit more. Make sure you research field modifications to build up two loadouts for different maps. For example, the first would have coated optics, commander's vision system, and low-noise exhaust. And the second would have ventilation, stabilizer, and gun rammer. That way you'll feel right at home, whether you're playing on Prokhorovka or Himmelsdorf. Phew! We've finally set up our dream light tank and are eager to head into battle. But what should you do in battle? How can you contribute? First, look at how many other lights are in your team and where they're headed. Scouts should spread out across different positions and even flanks. In the first minutes of battle, do some initial spotting for your team. Your teammates will really appreciate knowing how many opponents are on whichever flank. To spot enemy vehicles, you need to quickly get to a place that lets you see their approach route. To do that, you need to know the maps and remember the routes tanks take. It's safest to spot from bushes, but I came, I saw, I fled tactics can work too. That way, you'll likely get spotted. Just the time to remember how to rally drive. Then you can find a bush and spot from there. It's safer. If necessary, move from bush to bush, approaching or fleeing if there's danger. A moving light tank's non-reducing concealment comes in really handy for those short bursts. When you approach bushes, don't forget the proximity spotting circle. If you want to scout, you need to know about this. So how do we know where's the best to spot from? Look at where your teams and the enemy's light tanks are located and remember the positions. For example, on steps, it's usually best to take a central position. On Lakeville, you should be on the central line or near the town. On mines, the bushes, both on the hill and in the water, are best. On Prokhorovka, you want the line of bushes on the alley or the hill if your team has enough lights on the alley. On Outpost, head for the bushes in the middle of the lake. Those are just a few of the well-known bushes, but all these maps offer light tanks plenty of ways to play. Commit good positions to memory and get experimenting. Don't forget, a felled tree is as good as a bush. And you can fell them yourself with HE shells. Remember that the thorn in a light tank's side is another light tank. You can throw a spanner in the enemy's scouting works by spotting them and destroying them. And you can stop them doing the same to you. Remember where you've seen enemy light tanks and think about how to beat them. Pure scouting is only an option on open maps. In urban locations without bushes, you'll have to come to the aid of mediums, dodge the enemy, and cause damage. Lights with autoloaders or auto cannons are great at this. You can't go wrong with big damage in a short time. Although lights are very vulnerable, they can trade hits too, but carefully and with immaculate timing. If you're hiding in the bushes spotting, think before letting that gun rip. Firing drops your concealment to scary lows. Make sure you have a strong exit strategy. As promised, let's end with wheeled lights and how they differ from versatile tracked ones. Vehicles in the EBR branch have a poor view range that stops them from scouting passively at a distance. But they do have good concealment, high speed, and wheels galore. Even if one or several of them are damaged, you'll still be able to get about. That's why wheeled lights are active Scout Supremos. They draw fire and dance under a storm of shells, lighting the enemy up in the process. At the higher tiers, wheeled lights have two movement modes: rapid, with excellent top speed, and cruise. In cruise mode, the tank uses all its wheels to whirl like a dervish. These wheeled tanks pack penetrative HE shells that tear paper-thin enemies to shreds. Basically, wheeled tanks are very active, aggressive raiders. You'll need a very particular set of skills and practice to play in them, though. If you're less experienced, learn standard lights first. And that's it. Share this video with a friend who can't last a minute in battle. See you on the battlefield.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the last day of the Phase 1 of the AMD Onslaught Legends series, Season 3. And today is going to be a day of decisions. Two teams are going to get knocked out after the Super Sunday. Maybe we're moving into another Tiebreaker Tuesday, Ducky.
Relax, Gihan, what you wish for, right? So yeah, we are coming to an end for Phase 1. And important points are on the table for a lot of these teams, not just for Phase 1 or making it to Phase 2, but of course already looking at the future playoffs, which is something what Hit and Run would be looking at, and something that Darkside would love to get themselves into, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, Darkside against Hit and Run. I think we have a pretty positive surprise coming through with Darkside, who so far managed to rack up a lot of points. And for Hit, I mean, so far so good as well. Second of the regular season are Hit with 12 points. That is 3 behind W, who so far have shown an all but stellar performance in the OLS Season 3. So it's going to be the second against the fifth, but given past results, I wouldn't put it past Darkside to take away points here.
I mean, Darkside is the kind of team, Keyhand, that could do a lot of amazing things, to be honest. But they're also the kind of team that could completely stumble and fall out when it comes to Phase 2. This position where they're in right now is kind of their comfort zone, right? It's their home, Kihan.
Yeah, it's their home, but given the development that this team has taken throughout Season 1, 2, and 3, they're probably aiming for the playoffs this time. And at the moment, I mean, not entirely on track, but the fact that between Place 2 and Place 5, there is only 2 points of difference should tell you that it is indeed very, very close. And talking about it being close, we have 3 teams at the bottom there, Yogurt, Ping, Lotus. All of them still have, albeit for some theoretical, chances to make it through.
Yeah, I mean, it's hardest for Lotus to make it, right? But anything is technically still possible. And don't forget, guys, this is the last play day before we take a little mid-season break altogether. We will be returning on the 13th of May. Of course, we're going to do some stuff in between that, like potentially a mid-season update as well. So we'll be taking a little break, little bread, and then we're going to be coming back, and then we're going to really, really kick it off with Phase 2. And of course, not just that, also the OCS/OLF finals.
Yeah, exactly. There are obviously 2 reasons for this kind of mid-season break. One is the balance changes that are coming tomorrow, where the support heavies are getting nerfed a bit and the sniper mediums are getting buffed a bit. The other reason, quite obviously, so that I can once again go on a vacation. But yeah, here we do see the token store. I think, once again, there should be something for just about everyone there. Premium tanks, 3D styles, 2D styles, consumables, expirable boosters, etc. Now, back to the topic of the OLS a little bit more, as we do have the bundles that will still be available for some time. The base one only has the 2D style, the advanced one has some inscriptions, emblems, etc. on it, and the team one is the one that you should buy, in my opinion, because it also comes with a shiny badge, and if you buy the correct one, then it will be upgraded after the season. You can then choose to show the bling bling a little bit, because there will be a lot of gold on the style and on the badge.
Of course, Keyhand, not forgetting that the bundles are not going to be available for too much longer, unlike last season. At the start of Phase 2, right? So in about 2 weeks, we will be taking them away, if I'm not mistaken. So you can boost this prize pool currently at 47,721. After Keyhand's share, that leaves us with about $3.
Yeah, 100% of the proceedings of the bundles are going in towards that prize pool. And it is quite substantial, but we are not there yet where we were for last season, which I think crossed the 80,000 threshold. And obviously, prize pool for the OLF as well is going to be a set $15,000 that are all coming out of Wargaming's pocket. For the EU prize pool, 20,000 euros also coming from Wargaming. And then there is something coming from AMD. Thank you very much for sponsoring the Onslaught Legend Series Season 3. The winners of the OLS are going to go home and walking away with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D, an absolutely crazy chip.
Yeah, very good one. I even asked Kihan if he could sneak me one in the back, but, you know, Kihan's not a good friend, so he didn't slip me one. He probably slipped himself one, though. That's how this works. And, of course, Kihan's fan favorite drops.
Yeah, exactly. Today, there are going to be 5 OLS tokens, and then also we have rental vehicles for Onslaught with the Badger and the WZ5A, both of those pretty viable, in my opinion. And don't forget, actually, in the announcement article for the token store, there's also the bonus worker vehicle that you can grab. I believe this time it's the E50M, which we see quite a lot in OLS. So, yeah, head over to the article. You need to be logged in, but then you just click claim and you have a rental E50M for Onslaught on your account.
Now, the schedule for today looks like this, guys. Darkside versus Hit and Run, match number 1. Cashback versus W, match number 2. Lotus versus Ping, match number 3. And Mafia versus Yogurt. The most important matches, the highlight probably will be Cashback versus W, but the most important ones, Lotus versus Ping and Mafia versus Yogurt.
Yeah, exactly. As we said before, Lotus, Ping, and Yogurt all fighting for that spot on the leaderboard, the spot number 6 that will enable you to go forward in towards Phase 2. First of all, though, the upcoming match is going to be the positive surprise of Darkside against, I guess, the Polish juggernaut of Hit. Here we can see Darkside, the only roster with only 8 players, but so far it hasn't hurt them. If anything, taking inspiration from Cashback last season, they have performed. And I think for a lot of people above expectations, for Hit being in place number 2, I think that is thoroughly within expectations.
Yeah, this Hit and Run team, you can see all of them have been to WCI at one point or another. Click is the only one that hasn't. As he's, you know, I asked him and he said he likes riding the bench. So, you know, he's a professional bench warmer. 82% for Hit and Run. Bit extreme, I would say.
Yeah, taking into account the fact that, I mean, yeah, it's place number 2 against place number 5, but there's only 2 points of difference between both of those. And I think that just highlights that in this season number 3, it is not impossible, but it is very difficult to predict what's going to happen. The margin, the gap between the teams has kind of closed.
Yeah, a lot of teams are beating teams that you wouldn't expect it. So yeah, their skill gap closing a little bit. Skill is what we're going to see though on between these two, with Studzianki and Himmels being the first 2 bans, gives us Westfield an extremely high skill and quick paced map is Westfield. And then Kihad, we get into another one of those, Ensk.
Ensk, indeed. And Ensk is very, very interesting to watch this season. For Darkside, they have been quite surprising with some of the tactics, but also Hit have been absolutely comfortable on Ensk so far. Tiebreaker would be Sand River if we get there, which is still the newest addition to the map pool. And I think still a lot of teams are kind of figuring out what exactly to do.
Sure, a lot of possibilities. Predictions, though, across the board, 3 ones actually for Hit and Run. You can see, you know, the stakes are high in the prediction game. Nobody want to give an edge to the other person. Moff even is no longer throwing curveballs.
Yeah, no. Moff this time around is going with the 3-1 scoreline that we have apparently all gone with. So no one's going to be edging ahead or falling behind. All of us going with the Hit victory. I think that is still fair. Given what we have seen so far, but the potential for an upset is here.
But what dark side do we get? Do we get dark side of, you know, every season in the beginning, or do we get dark side from phase 2 already as we're approaching it? Yeah, that is a good question. What kind of dark side will this be? What kind of hit and run on Westfield? And a very interesting lineup there. Triple 50B, a mouse, a CS63, a K91, and an EBR 105.
And for dark side, we have a BZ75, 1 CS, triple Bliskowitz, an STRV, and an RHM. But Ducky, a mouse on Westfield?
Just to hold, no, and potentially push back towards the cap. I will say though, Darkside has one good thing going for them, Kihan. That STRV pick, right? It's tough to play STRV against RHMs.
Yeah, but there are no RHMs on the side of Hit and Run that really, after the departure of Mentos, have kind of struggled in that LT department, in my opinion. Still also not properly settled who is going to play it. You can see Ketsai here in that EBR, whereas Monster most of the time otherwise has played the RHM. And Trash Panda does get spotted out by the EBR, and, well... Trash Panda able to put a shot in towards the wheels of the EBR, but Trash Panda wanted to stick it on the info tower, is not going to get it. Drops immediately to 1100, so no information available for the side of Darkside, and that might be a huge problem as Trash Panda is getting chased down now by Ketsai.
And Ketsai, oh, it doesn't connect the first HE shell though, so Trash Panda will still be a 2-shot for HE and a 3-shot for regular ammo. So that's pretty good there from Trash Panda. The strike is already taken in the south, is now being taken in the middle. But the SCRV here on the cap for Kano is afraid of a potential light tank. Copiat will get reset, but that is only one tank. Now they need to find a secondary reset, and they don't have an info point anymore. If Darkside realized this, it could be all over before the game has even started. There's no mini strike available from Franek either. Does anybody get reset? There it is though. A mini strike actually was available for Franek. The big strike coming out as well, but Hit and Run forced to push in now. Dries speaking from the top already in his Bliskowitz. Shokorix boosting back, is afraid of these 50B. Dries needs to be very careful. Might be making a mistake there in the Bliska. Little bit of a premature peak from that Blitzka, dropped very low. Hellmine getting pounded on by triple players from Hit and Run. He's gonna be out. Rise is dead as well, and Darkside doesn't seem to be quite ready for this.
Yeah, Darkside somehow not expecting that push, even though it was spotted here. 2 kills coming through for Hit and Run, and still Darkside are on the cap, but with a lot of like map control now lost for them. This is not the easiest thing to play. The STRV now evacuating towards the D1 position, and the RHM really relegated to the sidelines to watch. Monster though, with that peak, taking 2 hits by the Bliska, and the BZ needs to be careful in that mouse, but is able to heal back a little bit.
That's a pretty ego peak there from Monster. You know, tries to shoot the STRV, the tank, you know, that it's not that useful to do the damage to begin with, because he's just going to play those bushes behind. Kano is actually coming back in. They want to make a play here. I think they realize as well that the EBR could be very annoying for them. Ketsai going around, Monster making another peak then against Shokorix, but you can see the shot there coming in. That was the EBR. Kano going for Piotr. Tisek pretty low as well. Vladislav for the peak with that Bliskowitz, but that's so expensive. Where's the follow-up? Kano finds, call me Piotr, but now Vladislav getting shot in the side by this EBR. Can they find Monster? They can. So a quick double there for the side of Darkside. Now Vladislav wants to find a shot against Franek as well, and the EBR is showing its weakness. Kihan not really involved in the fight. Can Darkside do something with this?
Can Darkside do something is the question, as Franek now has the flank on towards the Bliskowitz of Vladislav. One more shot, the K91 DPM, absolutely crucial here as Tisek gets pushed on by Kano, who is probably going to pick it up, but now all of those Darkside players are kind of in a corner and almost out of HP. Everything that Darkside have is on that STRV, but that one obviously struggles to make plays, to go aggressive.
Trash Panda getting pushed, Shokorix falling to Panzer Fury, that light will die, and then yeah, Kano is the one with all the HP and Hit and Run with those 50Bs, doing a very good job on this first round, finding an overpush, and Kihan, just like it would be in almost any situation, A3 is that, it's that bait, you know, it's you want to play that position, you think it's good, but it's so easy to repush most of the time, because nobody's able to shoot the crossing when those 50Bs engage initially.
Yeah, exactly. The repush came there by Hit and Run, first of all, and they were able to pick one of the linchpins of the lineup of Darkside up immediately. Also, the fact that one of the, I think, Bliskas fell so early was a problem, but this is not where the problems had started. Where the problems actually started was that Trash Panda wasn't able to get the info tower, then took a lot of damage, had to retreat, and all of a sudden Hit completely had map control.
I mean, the peak there from Dries was pretty bad, to be honest. Like, he you know, engaged, did one shot of damage and died. It's a very, very defining moment for this battle.
Yeah, exactly. One shot of damage here, and not really able to help his team out. Instead, he was probably dragging his team a little bit down afterwards. And for Hit, it was kind of well played. I think they're still operating around the light tank player issue on their team, but they're doing it well in this first round.
Yeah, especially because 50Bs is not really the most common pick on this map, you know, and they worked out, and like we said, Ryze contributed to that as well. You can see the power of the 50B is also, you know, that clip potential, right? So they blast through one of those Blizkas pretty easily.
And the thing is, like, with the rebalance coming in, the mid-season rebalance for Onslaught, this means that maybe some teams are going to use some tactics that they probably had saved up, maybe wanting to use them later. But if you heavily rely on those support-heavy tanks, then now might be the time to use it, because the patch is coming tomorrow, where it will all be changed.
Yeah, I mean, the most impactful change is that ability decrease, right?
Yeah. And I think it's designed in a way where it's going to affect the T57 more heavily than the 50B, at least in my opinion. But I think that is also fair, because we have seen a lot more T57s than 50Bs. So
yeah, it will not change much for the 50B. I mean, and the usability of the 50B won't really change much either. You have like Cliff as the main map, and there, I mean, on the 50 meters, level 2 ability, level 1 ability, doesn't make the biggest difference, to be honest.
Yep, exactly. So now Hit getting the better start here in the first match. However, we did see that if you even for a second slip up, then Darkseid can absolutely clap back. We saw Monster with the peak there. We also saw Darkseid in general then retaliating with kills. But yeah, Captain's rating, once again, lower is better. And here we see that Hit currently performing exactly within expected parameters, 2.2. And they are in place 2, whereas Darkseid slight overperformance measured against the expectations of the captains. They are 6.1. They are in place 5 currently. So
it could be place 2 after today, if I'm thinking correctly. If they beat Hit still, and yeah, they could be place 3, place 2. Yeah, potentially place 2, 3. They could be after today,
which is kind of crazy. But then again, first of all, for that to happen, they need to beat the team of Hit. And so far, that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. The first round going Hit's way, but maybe this second one is where it all changes.
I mean, there's only one round, though. Let's see what the second one brings. Hit and run, changing it up. Double BZ, Centurion, AX, and Quad Bliskavice.
That is pretty straightforward. On the other side, we see double BZ75, MVY, Udes, double Bliska, and the RHM. Udes is a different kind of Inspire medium, has a little bit more alpha, but I think why they pick it is because of the turret armor.
Yeah, Udes cooldown is just the best cooldown medium in the game. Don't let anybody tell you that the STB is better. The STB struggles in this. That's why they will never pick it. It's just not a good tank. AX or Udes for Onslaught are pretty good. STB is not.
I see we unite kind of in our hate for it, or dislike, let's say, for the STB. Good plane coming out by Trash Panda, though. Seeing just about everything there is to see. He's just going to clip straight past the information tower. He's going to go for the arty strike because obviously he knows that he needs to kind of support his team by with damage. Otherwise, they run the danger of getting overrun, as we saw a peek by the Darkseid players on towards Rexa, profiting off the initial information, and now Hit and Run realize what's happening, and they need to make the overpeak. They need to remove tanks from the side of Darkseid because they don't have map control, but that is a big strike, Darky.
Yeah, Trash Panda, there's about 4 targets getting hit, and DJ down low, minus 3k, and now Darkseid smell an opportunity, blood in the water to push back up, but they need to be careful. They actually need to go find Rexar. Don't let him be a thorn in their sides, and I think they realize that now Hellmind evacuating together with Shockworks to low HPs. Piotr gets found by Vladislav. pushing by himself, trying to lead the team, but there is no follow-up. Monster finding Hellmine though, and Shockrick's in a little bit of trouble as well with a dead loader, but the damage in return, Kihan, has been so significant. Strikes coming in, Bliska bits of damage coming in as well. Thrash Panda even from the back lines getting a bunch of shots as well, and I think the Udes contributing from that A3 position gives us the result right now that yes, Darkside is down a gun, but they have a lot of HP to play around with. Do keep in mind, if they keep losing guns like this, where they lose Kopiat, they have Trash Panda on 2.5k HP. That is currently not in the fight too much.
Yeah, Trash Panda trying to sidestab here, but instead he does take damage. Good pickup though by Dries on towards the Bliskowitz is going to even out the guns, and you can see Ketsai trying to trade against the tanks here as well, but this Udes from the sideline being an absolute annoyance. The Udes obviously with kind of lowish heat pen is going to struggle against the Centurion Action X turret, needs to get those good hits in, and now I think Darkside are just trying to slow down the game, trying to give time towards their RHM to pick up more utility on the field. And as the Artist Strike now gets picked up by Trash Panda, I think Hit and Run realize it's now or never. They're going in. Franek, the first one into the breach, is going to put a number in towards Dries, but I think they just don't have it anymore. They don't have the HP required to execute this push.
Nah, Ketsai was going for the RHM in the offside, but Dries finds another kill. Good return for him in this match. No mistakes, I think, from his side, and Kano picks up Ketsai, and Darkside show that they're here to stay, man. Picking up this round was convincing. Hit and Run tried to force the issue, but the crossfire from Darkside was there between A3, between Trash Panda as well on the strike, who I think hit 4 targets, if I'm not mistaken, with that first strike, and even with, you know, Bliskowitz's ability, which reduces it, the damage received, it's still like a lot of damage that you're going to take on a group of tanks. And Hit and Run did a good job at killing targets, but cost a bit too much for those.
I think once again both teams trying to play around the fact that Hit and Run currently struggling in the LT department. Darkside were able to completely use this to their advantage, getting the early info on all the tanks obviously helped, and then from there on out, the RHM just with the constant threat. I mean, Hit and Run need to do something, because if they don't, if they just sit there, then they have the problem that the RHM is going to drive behind them and just slowly tear them apart.
Kano, really good game. That first initial shot is so important, by the way. Like, the first shot that Udes hits is very important because of the Inspire, right? And because of that, they end up being able to have the Inspire the whole time.
Yeah, and that Inspire passively obviously massively contributes towards the like DPMs of these individual single shooters. Now, however, that is Westfield down and out. That was Darkside's pick. Hit did pick Ensk, a map on which the utility of an LT is very questionable. That might be why they picked it.
You really think that they're like worried about playing light tanks now? Like, possibly. You feel like it's a real thing?
Possibly. Like, the thing is, if you light tank in Onslaught, if you're not comfortable in it as a player, and you don't have anyone in the team that is comfortable on it, I think you have a huge problem. Sure.
But I don't know if they like actually consider it as a problem. I mean, they have the Ketsai, they have Monster. Both of them are able to play light tanks. Between the two, I mean, we talked about it. Let's be real, and it's not to discredit them, but neither Ketsai nor Monster is mentals. This is true. This will always stay true. Like, I think in that department, they'll always have the worst trade in a way, because they did lose a very good light player who doesn't even play lights in the team that he joined. So.
Yeah, I mean, true.
He literally doesn't play them for W. He does not play lights. He doesn't play EBR. He doesn't play RHM. He played it on the Muro where they played 4 lights, and he actually almost threw the round.
Mm-hmm. I mean, now more of a damage dealer. Damage is, after all, still damage. But now we're going to go to Ensk, and Ensk is one of those maps where. Recently, we have seen slow play, but at the start of the season, everything was explosive action always. And Hit and Run being in this match and on Ensk, I expect a lot of explosive action right from the get-go.
For real, it should be indeed very explosive from the start. And it will be a very, very good round to watch, because we also talked about it last time, right, Kihan? A little bit of a hit and run going towards those single shooting assault ADs again, more than the T57 heavies.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we'll see now how the changes are going to affect what's being played today, because I'll say it again, if you have a tactic that relies on T57s, now's the best time to use it.
I mean, sure, but like it will, you know, like the 57 heavy is not just going to die, Kihan, you know?
No, it's not going to entirely die off, but I mean, it works better now than it will in the future, is all I'm saying. So if you have something like 5 or 6 T57s, some meme strat prepared, maybe use it now. That is all theory, though, and maybe the teams are going to entirely prove us wrong. Hit and Run are gonna come in here without any support heavy tanks. It's going to be a singular mouse, a 1-to-1B, a Batshot, a Foshby, double E4, and a WZTD. TD meta is back, baby.
Yeah. On the return, though, Dark Side, mouse, double T57, a CS63, 1268, and double E4.
Now, the 268 with its recently buffed ability, and also the tank itself was buffed, is quite powerful. We saw it really pop off on Ensk before, but it is kind of a snowball tank. If you don't hit your initial shots, then you're not going to spiral out of control. So, once again, hitting those first shots, just like on the Inspire mediums, is extremely important.
Mm-hmm. Which one of the two do you prefer, lineup-wise?
I think hits is easier to execute. So normally I'll prefer the lineup that is kind of easier. But obviously the one that's more difficult to execute, if it actually works, I like looking at it.
Yeah, okay. I do see Vladislav pushing very early. I don't like that, though. With 57 heavy, he does take the strike he had, but I don't know if 57 heavy is the best tank for that position, you know? Behind him, a Rubble Pop Trash Panda. YOLOing into Franek, though, but that's a big ram. That's a very, very big ram, but Ketsai is about to arrive, and Franek putting the strike there as well. Strike coming back on towards Franek. Does it hit? Yes, it does, Vladislav. It's at least a trade. Ketsai finds it, but now it's a overmatch for them on the field. But look at the positions. Monster and Tisek are dug down in the trenches.
Yeah, they are really hold down there. They're not going to take a lot of damage. Kano might have something to say about that with his 268, but now I think Darkside realized, hey, with their 1-to-1B on the offside, we need to make a push. Now we have the superior numbers, but what are they running into? It is entrenched Mouses and E4s. That being said, though, DJ taking a lot of damage, is at 1100 right now. Call me Piotr, retaliating on towards Scout, who goes down to a one-shot, is going to pop his own ability to heal back a bit, but Dries is coming into shield.
Oh, but Dries bounces. That's a big bounce because Scout immediately dies against DJ in return, and Dries even getting Amorak there. He needs to use the repair kit. That slows them down so much, but when we look at it, they're really trying to march through the open into established positions. The hit and run were ready. They were dug deep back in the trenches waiting for this, and you know, they didn't expect that 1-to-1B for Darkside to appear in the city, and they were forced to make this field push, Kihan, and against the positions that Hit and Run have, that was always going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, the 1-to-1B there on cleanup duty now, coming from the back, continuously providing his DPM and his Inspire to all the tanks, so the reloads on the side of Hit throughout the whole fight probably just were ever so slightly lower, and it gave Hit and Run the edge that they needed to hold against this push by Darkside.
And for Hit and Run, I mean, let's be real, they're very happy with that. It was almost, the ram was huge though from Trash Panda. Like, he was really smashing into that guy for like 800, 900 damage. The strike was huge as well. But Ensk is kind of, well, right now it's a small map. It depends on what tier you're playing it, right? Unless you're getting Ensk region. But it's kind of small. So you want to react to this play in the city by pushing the field. but you cannot, because the 1-1B is like maybe 10 seconds away from the fight at best. Like the moment he kills the CS, he pops the global Inspire, and within 10 seconds he's back at the cap shooting the tanks moving in the side. So it's like, you want to make this push, but at the same time I think you also know it's kind of doomed.
Yeah. I mean, we see the T-57 still top performing, but the issue is Copiat getting out 2 clips. Normally the profitability for those T-57s and 50Bs as well only really starts after the second clip, when you go into like 3 or 4. And the rest of the team, the single shooters, actually, yeah, this is where the problems were. They weren't able to contribute completely. And on the side of Hit, you also have some pretty low damage tanks, but you have others completely popping off. Ketsai, 4.6 and 3 kills. Call me Piotr, perfect shooting as well, 5.5 and 3 kills. So the problem for Darkside was they were pushing in towards established positions. They thought they had to, because they thought they had the overmatch, but well, the 1-1B, even if it isn't there, it kind of still is there because it inspires.
Yeah, and like we said, Ensk is just too small to capitalize on that advantage of having an extra gun. And even if it was a bigger map, right, even if they were on Ensk region, they would still be in the problem of having to push down on established positions very far back. And let's be real, Kihan, T-57 Heavy and 268 are not really tanks that drive through the open very easily. Not against like big old TDs shooting them for like 750 at every given point. It hit just ahead in terms of like positioning on the map, and the read even gets like close enough to save, and that gives us match point for hit and run as well. We're in the last of the best of 5s.
Yeah, this means that already Darkside cannot catch Hit today anymore. I think because Hit already secures 1 point, but they are not going to mind the 2 additional ones that would come with winning this match clean. I mean, 3-1, yeah, you gave a round to the enemy, but in terms of what actually counts, points for the leaderboard, it is clean. You take all the points available from this match.
Especially because we talked about it already. For hit and run, they don't care about... I mean, they don't care about phase 1. Honestly, I don't even think they care about phase 2. They care about the playoffs, you know?
Yeah.
And for Darkside, sure, they care about the playoffs, but it's like... probability-wise, it's less high for them than hit and run. They're just aiming to get like a little bit of points if they can. More so than hit and run, just aiming for the full bag of points.
All right, so Hit and Run are coming into this one with an E100, double Mouse, 121B, Bat Chat, and double Fosh B.
Darkside, Mouse, double 57, 121B, Fosh B, double E4. And to go back to Hit and Run's lineup again, it's very beefy. Because not just the Mouses and the E100, the Fosh Bs as well. It's a very beefy lineup if you think about it.
Yeah, so Darkside, the thing for them that might make them succeed is going to be the double T57 that maybe will rely on towards a shot of the E4 each as well, and then just melting through one of the tanks of Hit and Run right from the get-go. That is, I think, the name of the game. And for Hit and Run, once again, I think they have the easier to execute lineup. For them, they will just need to hold. They do have the Bat Chat of Franek that's doing a spotting run here, but as you can see, he doesn't see a whole lot either. Now, however, Franek in that city is pushable for the Fosh B because that one has enough shells to take out the Bat.
Yeah, and it's Copiat this time who is just countering the info point more than the strike or anything. He doesn't know how many tanks are in the city, of course, at this moment in time. His team is still taking over the field. Hit and Run kind of encroaching around the map already. They still have A8, also A0. Scout taking damage from that Fosh B from A0, so they now know that there's a Fosh B there. He's taken 3 already for his trouble, 4 for his trouble. That's Tsek, because you can see the ability charge of Tsek is on level 3, so it's going to be very hard here for Darkside to find too much, but Piotr might just give himself up a little bit in that Mouse. He's taken a lot of damage, a little bit too far forward was Piotr there in his Mouse, Gihan, and you can see how quickly Darkside is able to come back in this.
Yeah, now DJ taking one by the 121B. The Chinese medium with the 350 pen obviously doesn't really struggle against the Mouse. DJ losing the gunner. Currently seems to be unable to heal it. Let's hope for him that he has a medkit available. Yeah, I mean, shots getting traded here so far with the better end for Darkside.
It's crazy to see how quickly Hit and Run was able to give up this advantage again, though, Kihan. I mean, with just too bad positioning, like mainly Piotr being in a bad spot. Hellmind, 1,000 to him as well. Doesn't give Piotr a shot. If he did, he'd be a one-shot. So these trades here, it's going to be very, very important to see what copy. Oh, no. He just pressed the button.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god. The timing. Timing is going to break Kopiat's back right here. Franek, though, taking one from the E4, needs to be a bit careful as Katsai drives in towards the side of the Flash B. One of the E4s once again is going... Yeah, he is about to be reloaded. One of the E4s missing the 1-1B, but now the Force B starting to fire the shells is going to put a lot of damage in towards Katsai, and actually the 1-1B dies. Kopiat alive, but barely.
Barely alive, but he makes it out. 168 Katsai there, making his life a bit harder. I think he drove over some buildings himself, and Kopiat, realizing Franek is on reload, gives him one more on his departure. But in return, though, what we didn't see is the 1-1B falling on the field, right? Kano dead, and now the Forge Bs are finding themselves something else, and it's called Trash Panda. Panzer Fury is going to die here in that E100, but does make an important shot against Scout. But Trash Panda, in return, that mouse surrounded by a lot of guns, and a kill on that E100 as well, though. Monster. Ooh, that is... I wonder how much he's going to heal from this.
Oh, that looks like he is going to be healing a lot. And he did get the kill on towards Kopiat, so finally the low HP Fush B from Darkside has been eliminated.
2083, that's like a 800, 900 HP heal, if not more. So they pop the ability at a good time, and that basically makes their HP lead, Kihan. That's another one of those beefy tanks. They would be... Ooh, they would be down on HP right now if Monster didn't heal back that much.
Yeah, indeed. Good shot by Dries in towards the side of the mouse that was driving towards the south. A good strike on towards Scout as well is going to put him on towards one shot. And keep in mind, on the lineup of Darkside, there are no tanks anymore with heal abilities. Whereas for Hit and Run, they can heal back on almost any tank. The mouse, even with the group heal, could be giving a little bit to Franek if he gets the charge back. But for now, Darkside kind of in the losing situation right now, question mark, because tanks are even. How much damage do you think has been done?
Well, I think Darkside would be winning on the damage delta pyramid, Kian.
I think so too.
Because you assume that Panzer Fury used the heal, Piotr used the heal, you know, Monster used the heal. They were about even in the start, so definitely it's like at least 700 healing, yeah, on Hit and Run side. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Darkside is currently winning.
But then again, maybe it will not come down to this condition, because you can see Scout 346 HP on that singular T-57 Heavy. This means he's one strikeable, just as Vladislav takes a bunch of damage here. Hellmind as well. They were driving in towards that Foch, but once again, you can see the ability of T-Sec was active. He doesn't care. He's going to heal back. All the meanwhile, Monster does find Dries, has 2 more shots, needs 1 more in towards Dries, and indeed, the kill does come through. Yeah, both the E4 is actually missing. Hellmind misses T-Sec, Dries misses Monster. And what does that mean for that E4, Kihan? When you miss the shot, it means you do not get the ability back, which means the Force B can actually go through you rather quickly. Scout is taking the RD strike, but Franek is about to put him where the rest of his team is already, in the garage, because it's incoming in like 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. Franek finds it, and at least Vladislav and Hellmind. And this round could have gone either way, but Hit and Run's experience, bringing them across the board, having some really good endgame positions, and they will close it out 3-1. Exactly, Monster there once again trading, but having the ability active, only taking 700 damage throughout the course of this is changed. Vladislav is going to kick back a little against DJ, puts him on towards a 1-shot, but DJ does stay alive, and now Vladislav as the 2-shot that he is. Monster coming in, cleanup duty for the Force B. 1, 2, make that 3, and Hit and Run are also going to take that exact number in points. Clean win 3-1 against Darkside. They seemed in control.
To be honest, outside of that one Westfield run, and maybe this one was a bit on edge, but in general, pretty controlled match from them. Mature, good, and not giving Darkside anything. Taking those 3 points home, which is the most important thing for them, especially because, let's be real, Hit and Run does not aim for stage 2, they aim for playoffs, and they would like to, of course, be in the position as high as possible, and they're working towards that now.
Yeah, and even if you made it into playoff spots already, there is still a reason to keep playing, because the seeding determines how difficult your playoffs journey is going to be. Damage-wise, I mean, the Fosh Bees by Hit and Run are really getting the work done.
Not even 6,000.
It's so close to greatness. But yeah, good job to T-Sec. 6,000 is...
5,999.
All right. Still a pretty good number.
That's not 6,000. In return, pretty good spread against the Darkside from Darkside as well. You know, look, it's at the end of the day, it's just like Hit and Run have those 5 beefy tanks. Darkside didn't. It was a close game. And let's say Monster was in a 57 heavy in that game. He doesn't heal back. I don't know how much he healed. Actually, can we see that? Like how much Monster healed in total?
He healed 400.
No, Monster, not Piotr.
Oh, yeah. Monster healed 1,520.
I mean, you know...
He's healing 2k, not 2k, Ducky. 1,990.
You know, just to illustrate my point about like they brought a very beefy lineup, right? At the end game scenario, at the 4v4, what did we see? It was 6,700 HP versus 6,700 HP. Hit and Run doesn't have Fosh Bees. They have, quick math, like 3,700 HP left versus like 7k of Darkside. They lose that game. So the fact that they brought this beefy lineup worked for them very, very well.
Yeah, also the fact that in the end the E4 is kind of missing their shots, etc. But that is going to be it for the first match of the day. When we return, we'll have match 2, but for now, we have some replays. Stay tuned.
I have no idea when the last time was. Because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback, the Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 winners. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket and cleaning up Cashback.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the second match of the day in the Onslaught Legends Series Season 3, sponsored by AMD. Together, we advance gaming, and now we have quite the banger of a match coming up with Cashback against W, but arguably not the most important match of the day.
No, but potentially the most entertaining one, though.
Yeah. I mean, we have a Cashback, a team that before the season started, everyone had on their predictions to be possibly one of the prime contenders to take it all away. But after losing versus Ping, and after losing versus Yogurt, after losing versus Hit and Run and Tiebreaker as well, Cashback all of a sudden not looking so fresh anymore. And today is maybe the ultimate test of phase 1 for them, because they are taking it up against the team that so far has performed the best, W.
Yeah, and Cashback looks a lot more like W than they would like. You know, the W of the last 2 seasons was inconsistent, not really performing, and scraping by. Let's be real. One season they were 5th, in the other season they were 4th, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So barely getting in. Winning 1, of course, which is amazing for them. And community prediction, I mean...
That is crazy.
That
is crazy.
I don't think you'd ever really see such a thing come in where, you know, W is leading with community prediction.
Yeah, but given how the season has progressed, I can see where it's coming from. Absolutely. W have looked stable, have looked exceptional at times, and I think we have to once again, first of all, player statistics. We see Got You Baby, a player that played the previous season in the team of Cashback. Maybe the problem here was, after all, that, you know, Got You Baby is not in Cashback anymore. Good stats for either player here. You can see win rate, though, 80% for Brainbreaker, but he hasn't played that many games.
No, he's not all playing every battle for Cashback, which is a luxury, because they stole him from W, right? So
now he's home.
He's home. You know, Cashback, that's a good thing for them, though, right? Being the reigning top dog of the Ukrainian scene, it gives them pick of the litter in terms of who do they want, when do they want him, and yeah, that's for them it's great, but they also have to continue being the top dog, because once you slip, somebody else will take your spot. Map pick and bans, though. Pilsen coming in as first map between these two. A map we have not seen all that much of in this season. Can still change when we get into the best of 7 phase, as it is a map you could split hard down the middle. And then Cliff.
Yeah, and Tiebreaker, if we get to it, would be Ghost Town. However, most interesting for me is the ban coming out from Cashback, the first one, Muravanka. And I think we have to once again talk about the round that we saw from W against Hit, where they played 4 light tanks on Muro. Maybe Cashback saw that and was like, nah, we are not playing against that rat strategy.
The rat strategy. I mean, I don't know if W would play that again immediately, you know?
Yeah, but like the threat passively is always there from W's side. Now that they've revealed it, maybe, like I was kind of questioning, why would you reveal such a strategy so early on? But thinking about it, maybe it was a good thing, because now a lot of teams are going to hesitate picking or not banning Morovanka against W.
You wouldn't play that strategy that quickly. You want to let it sink in, you know, because people watch it, they're like, how do we play against this? If I was the team playing against this, what do we do? If they play this against us, how do we play against it? But then you let it, like, sink, go down a little bit, and over time, an opportunity presents itself to be like, they won't play it. They won't play it. Let's play it. And then they play it, and they're like, oh, no, it's this. What do we do again? So it's like, you know, but the good thing is that, you know, W's style right now is a bit of unpredictable. You don't know exactly which W you're going to see, which for them is a good thing.
Absolutely. W very unpredictable, and I think that also shows that they as a team have grown together to be extremely flexible. Frugo is sort of the master chef in the kitchen, continuously coming up with new stuff, but he finally has the player skill on his team to be able to execute even wild ideas. Now, prediction-wise, I see both of us agree that after all is said and done, Cashback is still a Cashback. However, Moff and Phil seem to be impressed by what W has done so far this season.
Are you not happy? You know, like, that the predictions are, like, split across the board. Yeah, I don't know, I just feel like they really are going to want to prove themselves.
Yeah. And proving themselves, they have the opportunity to do it. If they even take a singular point today, W that is, they will be first place after the phase 1, which is kind of crazy, but then again, they won season 2, which was an absolute upset.
Can they repeat it? It would be the first time, you know, and they're looking in a really, really good form right now as well. Don't forget that. Like, they're really dominating at this moment in time.
Let's see how it's all going to turn out. W are coming on towards Pilsen with triple BZ75, an E100, a 121B, an E50M, and a Foch B.
Cashback, triple T57 heavy, Foch B, IS7, E100, and 63P. So those BZ ski hands, they're going to have to put them to good use.
Yeah, the BZs, I mean, they do have the rocket boosters that are going to propel them quickly in towards position. We'll have to wait and see if this is going to be a quick cap play. But Cashback as well, both of the teams without light tanks, mind you, they're also driving towards the cap side, towards the 1, 2, and 3 line. And in between BZs and T57s in a shootout, I kind of favor the T57.
Yeah, the BZs are going on towards the cap though. Immediately, Ios feels the hurt, Chlorophyll in the hurt as well, kind of sitting out in the open to give his shot, but the damage Skihan, look at that, man. They're gonna keep boosting towards Aka, but this is like kind of driving through the open. The 57s, they're just going to come back to the other angle.
Yeah, exactly. Aka taking another shot by Frugo, who is now putting him down towards a 2-shot, but you can see the T57's, the clip reload, actually not that long, and back in they come. Pop, 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 go the shots, and the first BZ already down and out as Little and Liberty. Both of them still have shots remaining, and Clerf does feel the hurt. He falls as well. Good strikes by W, but at that point in time, maybe it's too far gone.
And I also had a good kill there against that 60p from Aka, but he already paid off his life like he's supposed to. Drakefa and Baby now converging on towards that Foch B of Barbarian, but in return the 57's coming on their third reload already in this game. That's only 1 minute 30 deep. Find Itox out in the open, and somebody else that's out in the open is Mentos as well in that E100 Brainbreaker, just having a little bit of a fun time with that E100, getting behind him, chopping some shots in the back of him. And yeah, good initial here from Cashback, really countering everything W wanted to do.
Absolutely. Cashback were ready with those T57s, and I think it was just honestly lost on opening here for the side of W, because as soon as those T57s get like 3 clips off each, and are then able to escape without taking any damage whatsoever, that's kind of game over.
So, Baby, the last man standing. Somebody will come off reload soon. He's just batting his DPG a little bit, you know. That's what you get if you're the last one alive. Twilight will find it. No, it's going to be Little stealing it. And, you know, Cashback still rotating in the lineup, Kihan. I don't know if Squeezy's not there or he's being subbed out right now. But they're the team this season I find that has the most player swaps going on, where everybody's kind of playing. Especially because, you know, Squeezy was Season 2 MVP. Or Season 1 MVP.
I think Season 1, yeah. Season 2 was Frugo for his cooking in the finals. But yeah, Cashback go into this match and tell W, well, T57 traps, we can do those ourselves too. Not unexpectedly so, the T57's on top.
Look at the combined damage between them. Yeah, let's round up Liberty to 4k. So 10.6 already between him and Little, and then Twilight as well, 15.6k damage, 6 kills as well. Yeah, those guys had a good game. You know that you're having a good game in the 57 when you're making your 3rd clip at the 1:30 marker.
Yeah, absolutely. All of this comes down to the fact that W were trying to play something very aggressive in towards the cap with the BZs, but it was blind by both sides, and the cards fell in a way where it just favored Cashback so heavily. I think there is no blame on towards individual players or even.
Let's check if it's
okay. Well, I guess we now know the culprit. Even though Jackifa was top damage, but not able to
baiting too hard, man. Baiting too hard. No, this was over on the start. After the first 30 seconds, when those 57s already did, I think 4 to 4.5k damage initial volley onto the BZs. It's like, okay, guys, over, literally over. I mean, yeah, Frugo was pushing past to kill the 60p, but you know, by the time they even do that, the 57s are already back in on their way. You know, with their secondary clips, they're like, hey guys, did you miss me?
Exactly. Did you miss us? Here, we got some presents. Can you hold them for us?
Yes, it's like, you know.
But yeah, maybe round number 2 will be a different story. I think with battles like this, obviously you still need to play well at the end of the day. If you're Cashback, you need to penetrate your shots in the T57s, but all those players are of a caliber where more often than not, they will do their entire clips. And at that point, I think W also doesn't have the assets to get back into the match, right? Because that triple BZ, it is quick, it is chunky, it has a lot of HP, but it doesn't have DPM. And, I mean, W did have an Inspire medium, but that just makes the BZ DPM go from atrocious to bad.
What are we going to get in round number 2? Cashback coming swinging, and that's again the tendency on their style change, Kihan. They really stepped away from that light tank a while ago. Even though they probably have the best light player out of all the teams. Also just, you know, but Liberty is a man of many talents.
Yeah, he put him in a light tank and he'll be useful. Put him in another tank and he'll be useful. That is exactly what you want to have as an FC. As we see, round number 2 is about to start. W switching it up quite heavily, and I think rightfully so. Singular E100, double T57, 121B, double Fosh-B, and a light tank, IOS, with the EBR.
In return, though, Cashback, W100 Mouse, double T57, and double Batcha. No light tanks available for them. None of those shenanigans. And the EBR, of course, is a very potent tank on this map still.
Yeah, he's going to go very aggressive at the start, which is exactly what the EBR should do. Also, the fact that none of the tanks of W are going to get spotted at the start should be communicated, and then IOS will know more likely than not that, well, there is no light tank on the enemy team. Cashback, once again, very oriented towards that 1-2-3 line, and W this time as well. So they are going there, but they will have the EBR on the offside that only sees the mouse. This should tell W that, hey guys, where can the opponents actually be? It must be here as well. We need to stop because we have one fighting tank less.
Well, I mean, he's taken the strike already, though. Itok's pushing in with that Forge B getting clipped out now by Brainbreaker as well. Brainbreaker is waiting for the ability. He might even go for this fight, to be honest. Now, Itok starts healing and Brainbreaker is just peeking this, but he's getting shot in the side by Mentos as well. Can he actually do enough from this? Jagefa now coming in as well. Mentos will look for the kill here. Brainbreaker trying to escape. Does he make it out? No, he doesn't. Baby in the 1-1B is actually the one to find the kill, and now the 57 heavies are starting to unload. Little coming in with his own bad shot now, a little bit premature again, is about to come off of reload, and he will be able to find the kill, but that was a lot of HP lost, and Mentos might even find the kill from the back lines. He's not frugal with the overpeak though, and it's only 57 heavy. That was a little bit more than he wanted in that tank, and it's opening him up to Twilight, and then following up, I said as well, the two of them to pick him up.
Yeah, and you can see Clerf here trying to get a bit over-eager with the T-57, with driving away, hits the edge of the opening in the house. He does get double tracked here, so this double E100 is not going to stop rolling. Instead, they will drive over that T-57, the EBR taking damage as well. Liberty to pick it up too, but that opens him up actually towards Clerf, who is completely reloaded in the T-57, but Twilight to save his body of Liberty as Mentos comes in with the E100 as well in the city and picks up Liberty, but at that point in time, once again, W are fighting with 2 against 4.
Yeah, and they even kind of got a bad shot, relatively cheap-ish, you know, like Little Keyhand. I won't even say Brainbreaker because Brainbreaker did his clip, but Little lost all of his HP for like 1 shot of damage. So even with that, Cashback still convincingly won this round, and that comes down to, gotta say it though, man, you know, the peak there by Frugo, the engage between him and Clerf, where he was the one that was the most aggressive, was not what they were looking for whatsoever. And, you know, an E100 is not a mouse. A mouse will not chase down a T-57 heavy, but an E100 will.
Absolutely. Put a turbo on that thing, and it starts really rolling over the T-57s. And yeah, Cashback, quick 2-0 on Pilsen. This is not the Cashback that we saw against Ping or Yogurt. Then again, which Cashback are we going to see next map is the question. But yeah, the E100s really got going this round, and I think a lot of people still underestimate the DPM that the E100 has, but like the 530 alpha every 9 or 10 seconds roundabout, it can really start adding up.
I feel like for the Inspire tank to work here for W, they need a bit longer of a game. Like, sure, Baby does 5k, right? But he's the only one having a good game together with Mentos. The only one. I mean, you know, Frugo 2 shots of damage, Jakefen at Fush B 3 shots of damage, the EBR of which I think some is strike damage as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he has 2k, and I think it's at least 800 from the strikes. So
yeah,
it's, you know, they need a longer game to make this work, because the EBR, Kihan, you know, like, you need a longer game for the Inspire and EBR combination to really start kicking in. If the 57s don't get a second clip, then it does not matter.
Yeah, but the lineup of Cashback was designed to immediately force the issue, right? They don't have a light tank, they have T-57s, E100s, Batshots, so they want to immediately get off the engage, and that is just what they did. That was Cashback's pick, though. Now we are going to go to Cliff, and I mean, Pilsen was quick. I don't think Cliff is going to be much slower, honestly.
No, but I do need, and I think you need it as well, I do think that we need W to pick up 1 round on Cliff.
That is correct.
Would be important, right, Kihan? You know, there's being right and being more right. Just like there's being wrong, very wrong, and moff.
The thing is, I mean, W against Cashback on Cliff, probably not the worst memories for W, because they ended up winning and getting the match point conversion against Cashback on this exact map.
That is true. They do have good memory for it. You can see the captain's ratings. The only reason Cashback is not rated 1 across the board is because there may have been some teams voting for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think some of those teams
still...
Yeah. I do think, yeah, that some of those teams perhaps mistook place number 1 and place number 8.
That is entirely possible. Are we right now talking about teams with like a blue and white logo?
I will not say any names, but maybe they had the way that this ranking system worked all turned around, you know? Maybe first meant first to drop out.
Aha, speedrun any percent. Maybe that's what Cashback is going to do this match, because after 2 quick rounds, they're already on a match point here. Quadruple E50M, CS63, BZ, and a 50B.
In return, though, W, quadruple E50M, TVP, BZ, and a T100.
I'm kind of worried here for W with that T100, once again lacking the firepower.
They do have 4 E50Ms though, but the question is the initial engage, right? The 50Bs can burst through an E50M. If they do, Keyhand, this becomes a bit more worrying. If Jakefa can find a first clip and get the ball rolling, because that is the thing about a TVP, right? He needs to get the ball rolling. If he can, then things are possible. Mentos made a good play, spots 5 out of 6 people going down into 1-2. So potentially W could volley from the corner.
Let's see, Ios and Clerf are going to be the first ones over at the corner. Twilight immediately taking 1600, that's good damage, but I'm not sure if the E50Ms by W actually want to commit, as Ios completely gets obliterated, gone from the face of the earth is this first E50M of W. They're not going to find Clerf completely, I think, but Itox and Mentos are still there. Cashback just with the gun advantage now.
Ow! Ow! I think even W don't understand what just happened. I mean, Frugo ramming in towards an E50M. Okay, he might be a BZ, but now Mentos starting to explode as well in that little T100. I thought for a moment there W was cooking. You know, they hit the CS63. They're going to stop on the corner keyhand, volley, 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 and repush, right? Because they know that there's nobody left behind. But no, they go for it. They go for the fight against these 6 tanks from Cashback going into 1-2 line. That's just like, I don't know if it's stilt or an oversight or what it is, but it's 100% the wrong decision. And it's not going to be a competitive match. It's going to be a wipe. It's going to be 3-0 for Cashback, putting things in order again. I think there though, Kihan, in my opinion, after you do that initial damage to the CS63, you want to stop at the E50Ms on the corner, volley out, right? Volley, volley. Come in from the top and then repush from behind. Not enable these 50Bs to just explode your team.
The fact as well that if you see the CS cross, that should normally indicate that there are more tanks from Cashback at this side here.
But they know, they had the plan. They knew that there was,
yeah.
They knew that there was, they saw everything going on too. Mental spotted everything. So they knew everything. They knew that there was only a CS that was F1, and a CS doesn't do that much damage. Like, he really doesn't do that much damage. They could peek out with all the 50Ms and the TVP. Get the clip on the TVP as well. Do a lot of damage with the 50Ms, especially because you start shooting the last guy there, not the first guy. You start shooting the last guy because, you know, the last guy is also the last one to drive on the hill, so you can keep peeking. But now, you drive around the corner, Jos in the 50M, just like, it's just gone. Like, it's just like in a second or two. I honestly think that their only option is to stop, volley, volley again, force the 50Bs from Cashback to even stop, like they've done a few times before. You've seen them stop in the open, pop ability, and then come in with the tanks from the top. They don't have the firepower for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, we see here, yours does 1 shot of damage, probably even on the CS. So in the shootout, that was damage that didn't really help. And the thing is, once again, with that T100, I mean, he got the information. It wasn't like his fault after that the T100 is not a tank that does very well in a close combat shootout scenario, because the DPM is so limited and you also come in with very little HP. On the other hand, though, the 50Bs, I think both of them with perfect first clips, that was the quickest E50M disappearance I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, if you're Jos there, you're like in 2 seconds, like the damage starts pounding and you're just dead.
Yeah.
Just instantly. I don't know. It was rough.
I think the call was just the wrong one to go in there.
I think they need to volley.
Already,
I think
like,
they
need to stop at the corner, and like even if they don't go in, even if they don't have like good positions after that, it's still better than losing like this.
I think they could kill a tank driving up with the 50Ms because they were so fast. I think they killed the last one. And Cashback then needs to pick if they keep going up. W can take mid in return or start pushing up, get Frugo close, so Cashback needs to
put some tanks to kill Frugo, needs to put some tanks to watch behind. The CS can get that repush, but now they just opened themselves up. Like, they did the initial volley, but then Cashback has the burst with those 50Bs. And you need those 50Ms to stay alive. Every single one of them. Because you have a T100.
Those E50Ms, they are the ones that do the damage over time, right? But you could see there was very little time that
it would be so hard. Imagine like those triple or 40 50Ms, I don't remember the exact positions, like echelon on the corner. Make sure the 50Bs can stop in the corner and start clipping with the ability. But if the 50Ms played like somewhat decent, none of them dies, and they will start killing. Oh well.
All right, that was a Cashback against W. We were kind of trying to advertise it as a banger of a match, but turns out it was an absolute blowout. Cashback taking the victory decisively. But as we said already, this was not the most important match of the day. Those are coming up, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after the replays. Hello there, and welcome back. A little bit before schedule, but that is just sometimes how it goes when the matches are quick. We are going to have a decision on our hands, Daki. Lourdes against Ping.
According to the standings, Ping deserves it more. But,
Absolutely.
you know, they're also both in, how to say, like, this is an important match for both of them. But then Yogurt has their fate in their own hands.
Yeah, Yogurt in the last match of the day will have everything in their own hands. But first of all, here we also kind of have a situation, Ducky, because Lourdes to even have their hopes and dreams stay alive, they will need to win clean. Anything but a 3-0 victory for Lotus is going to confirm they will be either 7th or 8th.
It's a tough spot for them to be in. They had big dreams, big hopes, big players, and they weren't able to capitalize upon that. I personally think it's the manager's fault. It's always the manager's fault. If they had a better coach, with a better tactic, they would have been winning out. But no, Ping did a good job in the season by taking points from cashback, which is also the only reason why right now they have an opportunity into Phase 2.
Yeah, exactly. They were able to do that, and Yogurt as well, interestingly enough. So now against Ping, Lotus stand with 37% probability in the community predictions. That is not something, once again, that we would have expected when the season started.
No, and let's be real, these teams are the ones that are going to drop out, Gihan. They'll have an opportunity back in, right? Later on?
Yeah, there will be relegations. Where the teams can play for the spot once again, but
I was going to say, just making sure that that's still the same, is that there will be a lot of hungry teams in those.
Of course, the OCS is in full swing as well, and judging by what we see from there, the player level and the player skill has gone up significantly. So they would rather avoid this, but it's not in their own hands alone anymore. Stone from Lotus, 0.6 KD, not the best. However, average damage is up there, 3.8k.
I mean, when you're always losing, the KD is going to be low.
Yeah, exactly, because you're going to be dying a lot. He likes to play those auto-loaders as well, so it's good to see him just outputting that damage. Now, map-wise, we see Lotus banning out Ensk, Ping banning out Ghost Town. That leaves us with Murvanka as the first map. I don't think either of the teams have some fancy shenanigans like Quadruple Light prepared for us. And then Ping responding with the Pilsen pick.
So, Murvanka into Pilsen is very interesting. Two maps that could be a bit slower, especially Pilsen. Murvanka can be played quick, but... yeah, this match really depends. Lotus needs a strong start, and if they don't, demotivation might kick in. It depends. Do they dislike Ping or not at that point?
Yeah, Studzianki would be the tiebreaker if it gets to it, but at that point, of course, we already would know that that Lotus is eliminated. And obviously for Ping, I mean, those need the points as well. They still have to overtake Yogurt if they want to make it towards the next phase.
How many points does Ping have right now again?
I am not entirely sure. I'll quickly open Liquipedia and then
I can check in.
We are going to see it. Both of us probably going to Liquipedia right now.
I'm just I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay, so Ping has 4 points and Yogurt has 6. But the thing is, 10 and 15 rounds, 9 and 17 rounds. So if Ping gets 3 points here, they are ahead of Yogurt. If they get 2, then we would have to see about the round difference.
I'm just wondering what is left mentally from Lotus. Predictions though, Moff going for a 3-2. I mean, unless you imagine that Lotus wins 2 and then Ping wins 3, it's a very crazy prediction, no?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Lotus, the question is, can they actually perform? So far, we have not really seen them do that a whole lot. I mean, 3 points after 6 playdays. That's half a point per playday. It's not a lot.
What do you mean half a point per playday is huge? It's halfway towards a whole point per playday.
Crazy.
Yeah. 50% of the way there.
I think we have to keep in mind here that Lotus, in every single game here that they are playing, until they lose, are going to be playing for survival. Let's see what that does with their psyche as well. Whereas Ping, they can afford to drop around. They would prefer to take 3 points here. With 2, it would kind of depend. I mean, they're -8 right now. If they win 3-2, they're -7. And Yogurt is -5. So if Yogurt then loses something like 3-1 or 3-0, then Ping would still be through.
Those are worries for later though.
Like, first, let's see if Ping can even win it, you know?
I think they definitely can. But, of course, as well, like, the majority of their points comes from the one single win that they had against Cashback. So, as we are going into Moravanka, we are seeing Lotus with a what seems like very light lineup. Triple Batchat, Leopard 1, Foshby, double RHM.
La Rata is back, dude. Ping in return. 57 heavy, CS, AX, E50M for TDU, Foshby, RHM. The only thing Lotus is missing is 2 EBRs, you know, for the full rat.
Yeah, it is still a very light lineup for Lotus, whereas Ping, they're looking for a fight. Are Lotus going to give it to them is the question. The problem always with those light lineups as well is that, as we saw with Mentos on the previous stream day, things can go very wrong very quickly as the planes come out. Both of them, actually Rishek not using his plane. This means that as less than 4 tanks have been spotted on either side, they know that at least either of the light tanks that use the plane cannot replane. But here comes the second one, and it's going to see a lot of tanks driving in towards the middle of the map. Full information was now available for the team of for either team actually, as both info towers were taken.
Lotus pushing through the forest, Yasik running away. Not much else happening for Ping. I mean, they're starting to take the info tower on the 1 line, which will give them info about what the rest of the tanks are doing from Lotus. But now they'll join the cap. They will play against, well, only 1 strike. Risha getting reset.
Leopard 1. Look at D1, yeah, exactly. Ping are realizing their possibility to go for a kill here, as Alex does have the Force B in support, but is it going to be enough? Like popping the ability with the funny button immediately coming in, and Alex starts hurting. Like, though, taking a lot of damage by that Force B and by Milo in the bat chat too. Is the Leopard 1 going to survive? Here's the question. So Jacob now down and out with shells, cannot help anymore, and Alex just getting bullied by that CSE50M combination. David to put the final nail in the coffin.
Lotus still has everything to play for at this moment in time, but they're already down in HP, down a gun as well, and positional-wise, they're not in the greatest of spots either. They do have that double light thing, though, where Yasik is being pushed away by one of the RHMs, and Sir Jacob are driving through the open, trying to survive, trying to get further away, but he will explode, and that could indeed be the nail in the coffin for Lotus's dreams of making it into a further position, because the first round Kihan could already put it down.
Indeed, still 7 tanks available. HP kinda close here, but now Ping are trying to force the issue even more. They do know that the Leopard 1 is gone from the lineup of Lotus. This means no baby strikes anymore, and the outside strike still needs 30 seconds to recharge. This means someone needs to come and reset by Lotus, and obviously that is what Ping is waiting for, as they still have the combat-heavy lineup in their hands. David now getting spotted here, and it seems like Lotus are aware of the angles that are able to get the resets.
Yeah, Baku finds a shot. Rishak still has a plane as well. They're starting to take the strike on the middle. So Baku is finding the angles. Rishek will plane this cap. Ooh, he does get reset, so no reset coming in from Rishek. Lotus, this is OLS on the line here for you. Can somebody find a reset? Can it be Baku? He misses 1 second. He'll have one more opportunity. I think he misses again, and it's over and out for Lotus and Season 3 of the OLS.
Indeed, Lotus, a team that came in with big expectations, with big, hopes for themselves, are going to be confirmed the first team that is not going to make it further in towards Phase 2, which probably was their goal, or to go even further, but not like this, man. Not like this.
Well, their dreams are over. They can now use the rest of this match as an early practice for further relegations. Very early practice. But yeah, the Baku didn't find the shot there, didn't find the reset, and because of that, Lotus down and out. It will be a big mental kick for them, in my opinion. And for Ping, it will be a big sigh of relief already, you know. There's no way that Lotus plays this out as good as they would normally.
I mean, then again, it is going to be a mental change now for Lotus, knowing that they're out of the season. they are going to be confirmed, place 7/8. Maybe for them, the pressure now is gone.
Maybe they should play
they start playing
6 type 5 heavies in an EBR. You box them in on the cap. There's nothing they can do about it. You know, you make the...
except strike.
The Studo. Strikes is cheating.
Oh, okay. I remember back in Silver League, I think once actually on a Ghost Town attack we kept through with like boxing in a light tank with Moses.
Once upon a time in LAN, Penta Sports actually made a shield tactic against GDWP, I think, with Ohos and Onis, and managed to cap them out fully because they couldn't push the Rex out in time.
Was that still the time where Rex couldn't be pushed?
No, they could, but it's pretty high. You needed like numerous tanks. I could find it for you. It was in Ruenberg North.
Rat tactics, but a different kind of them. Are we going to see something interesting from the team of Lourdes? The thing is, do they like Ping? Or do they not like them? If they don't like them, then they might obviously still try to take the win here to confirm Yogurt going through in at least place number 6th. After this match is done, Yogurt will still have everything to play for. But as of right now, Ping is still fighting for survival.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of pressure on Ping, and you talked about it, there's no more pressure on Lourdes. Lourdes rated higher across the board by all the teams than Ping, and Ping is proving themselves.
Yeah, exactly. This was the captain's rating. It was made before the season started. So before the season, Ping was perceived as worse than Lourdes, or Lourdes was perceived to be better than Ping. As of right now, doesn't look like it's that much the case.
No. But making it to phase 2 is not guaranteed for Ping either just yet. So they need to win this round. Lourdes coming in 113 Mivi, double bat or triple bat, double Forge B and an RHM.
And for Ping, we have no light tank. It is IS-7, T-57, triple 430U and double Forge B, so they are going for the fight.
For the straight onto the cap?
Possibly. I mean, as soon as they get spotted by a plane, they will know that they have the firepower advantage. And then they need to find a way to convert this somehow. As the 430Us indeed start driving towards the cap with the IS-7. And only 3 tanks get spotted here on the team of Ping. This means no replane available for Lukin for now.
See those I-7 for straight onto the cap. Baton starting to take the information tower. He needs this one to give his team the info. And yeah, like you said, Lukin doesn't have a replane, so now it gets spotted out. And they know that there's a lot of tanks here from Lourdes. Alex will find a shot as well. The I-7 will swing to get a different position. The Forge B will cover. And now the Lourdes tanks are starting to arrive. There's 3 tanks from Ping still in the middle of the map. And Alex and Baku might realize this opportunity right now and might want to take it. Baku crossing over though. That's a level 1 ability on the Forge B, Kihan. That's not ideal, but he does make it past anything and anybody. But how much can he still do? Milo in the meantime committing on towards Like, who pops his ability in return. It's a high level ability. Baku will not live through this to see another day normally.
Yeah, Baku now down towards 1 shot, but Like doesn't have any more shots available. It's going to be Miku to pick up the first kill of the round. Lukin also completely in the shootout with his RHM is going to try and help his teammates as Stone gets another kill on the board, but immediately answered by Botchance. So it's 6 versus 5 right now, and keep in mind Lourdes have that RHM that doesn't have so much DPM. Miku now going in towards the light tank that does put the plane once again. The Batchat trying to help as well, but is going to be on reload soon, and Ping are looking like they are going to completely roll over Lourdes on Moravanka.
It's not over just yet though. Sir Jacob and Stone and Rishek will find Ari turn it into a 3v3 with Lourdes in the HP lead and Miku on a 1-shot, so a possibility for a strike. Now they need to get Baton back into the battle here altogether, so he could potentially find a clip out. Stone is going to be backing away in his bat. Jacek is going to be missing, so Jacob is going to be on the outside already. They have to find something here for the side of Ping, or they're definitely going to lose this round.
Yeah, Lourdes is making it back with that quick double kill in the cap here, completely negating the success that Ping found on that 1-2 line. However, if Stone doesn't make it out, that could be detrimental towards whatever Ping or Lotus is trying to do. However, at this point, 5k against 1100 HP on the side of Ping. Another kill coming through for either team. But with that HP, Lotus certainly aren't going to throw.
No, and Rishek with that Inspire and DPM boost as well should have no issues cleaning up the i7. And Lotus, they show that they are a capable team. They show it just a little bit too late.
Yeah, this game kind of on a knife's edge for most of it, but with the better end for Lotus, although it doesn't really change anything in the grand scheme of things. Ping still have everything to play for, but it seems not playing against the pressure has completely turned it around for Lotus.
Yeah, and you know that was a good move there at the end of the day. It worked out for Baku still as well. I think he got most of his shots off, and they did a lot of damage to those first 3 Us. But mainly, the triangle Stone, Jacob, Rishek at the end finds a lot of success picking up those 2 kills, and those 2 kills were what they needed to make it a 3v3, and then, Ping doesn't find a kill back, so really good stuff. But again, too late for Lotus, but, they could still ruin Ping's dreams as well, Kihand.
Yup. That is maybe what they're trying to do currently, and you said it. So Jacob, Rishek, Stone at the end there with a lot of damage, especially so Jacob in the Foch, and also Rishek doing a good job of baiting both teams, but the opposing one just that little bit harder. I was a bit concerned for Lotus that they were not going to have enough firepower because they had the RHM in the fight, but in the end it turned out to not matter too much.
What is the issue there? I mean, like only getting 1 clip out, but Ton only getting 1 clip out. If you compare that to, Sir Jacob, it's a big difference. Potsians, 3 shots with the 430U. But mainly the Foch B diff there.
Now that is Murawanka done, and that was Lotus's map pick. Now we are moving towards the area that Ping definitely wanted to play Pilsen. We saw it earlier today, but it was very, very quick and brutal, pretty decisive. Cashback smashing W there. Are we going to have the same thing again? What do you think?
I somehow doubted Kihand. That was Cashback looked to be counter-striding W and succeeding at it, may I add, as well, in both rounds. And I think also just ruining them mentally with that, with those moves. And, Cliff was just,
bad call.
It's not bad. It's not a bad. It's always nice to get humbled. If your W remind that you're not invincible, and that you have to be on top of your game every time.
Now, though, we are at the opposing end of the leaderboard right now. Ping still fighting for a spot in the second phase. And to be honest, given that Yogurt has to take on Mafia later on, if they take it cleanly here, it's not the worst of chances.
Is it bad for Ping if they... I mean, no, because Yogurt last time, Ping was on 4 and Yogurt was on 6, right? So Ping just has to win it.
Yeah. And if they win it cleanly, they go 1 point ahead of Yogurt. They win it 3-2, then they would be in the same kind of points. So then it also depends how good or bad Yogurt does against Mafia.
Well, let's focus on this first. Ping coming into Pilsen. Ooh, triple 57, triple 50M and an RHM.
Pretty fragile, no super heavies, but the same thing can be said for Lotus. Double T57, double 5A. I think first time that we see those tanks, a CS, a Centurion, and a Foch B.
It's a very, very quick brawl lineup, though, from Ping, if you look at it.
Yeah, and I think good for them that Lotus do not have, like, let's say 2 or 3 mouses. Because they're going to be able to blast through those, for example, those 5As very, very quickly. If they manage to catch them out in the open. How many tanks is Jacek gonna spot?
2. I think it was 2. Milo and Alex are spotted, the rest are not. So they will send the E50Ms towards the cap. I think they'll quickly realize that there is a CS63 on it, because no other tank is that fast. But they will spot Stone, and I think Alex as well. Or no, they won't actually.
Well, so Jacob is going to get that first strike. That is going to make up for a lot of the cap pressure. And this actually might be a huge strike if it connects on towards both groups of tanks that Ping has here right now. Now the T-57s are going to continue over, forming a fire line at the corner, but they're going to get greeted by Milo, Stone, and Lukin. So once again, T-57 heavy, Boogaloo, Milo starts melting, Beton down and out already. The counter kill comes through, and now the E-50Ms are exactly where they want to be, but they are stunned.
Let's see what they can do with this though. Miku and Adi and Like are the damage dealers at this point. Can they find Lukin quickly now before he gets a second clip off? You can see the reload very close for that T-57 heavy. He will not. Like now will probably fall against Alex in that 5A, but can they pick off the next one? I think they want to go for Sir Jacob. They're splitting up their focus a little bit though. David getting that second clip out, but bouncing. I think 2 shots of that. Adi coming back in. He dies before he gets out of there, but Xian's trying to get out of there as well, but I don't see Ping currently making every right decision that they would need. Sir Jacob with that CS63 baited them in, survived together with Alex, and found crossfire between his AX. Baku now, that Forge B coming in as well, and it will not be Ping that is going to be on match point first. It's actually going to be Lodis who are going to take it 2-1 over Ping. They could be a dream shatterer still. If they can't qualify, they'll make damn sure that neither can Ping, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very spiteful, but Lotus, after getting knocked out, does not drop around yet. At least they are going to be on match point, and this already means that Ping and Yogurt, if Ping makes it, are going to be on the same kind of points. Yogurt probably cheering for Lotus right now.
I mean, if you're Yogurt, you're like already, because you've now eliminated the part where you need to get points against Mafia. So they're already in the territory of we need to pick rounds against Mafia. I don't know how many rounds they need to be certain. I'd have to check at the round difference, but I thought it was 1 or 2 max that they would need to win if it was a tiebreaker. But you know, Lotus is on match point. They win 1 more round, and it's 7.5k damage for Jacob. But there's at least 2k from strikes.
Yeah,
bit more than that.
3.2k from strikes, but that still means he was able to put 4.5k with his gun.
Which would still put him top damage.
Yeah. So, good round by Sir Jacob. And, I mean, it was clear what Ping was trying to do, right? With this triple T57, triple 50M combination, but it just wasn't working out. The timings were not good. And also, I think the way that, 1600 by strikes for the RHM. I think the way that Lotus was playing kind of countered what Ping was trying to do.
Yeah, especially baiting them back into the factory. You know, they were all drove inside. I think then they met the people coming from the outside, which was Recheck and the X already farming, and they realized, you know, Jacob is dug in. This is AX. We have to somehow go kill like the other tanks out. They drive back out of the factory. They lose another gun, and then the first B comes back in with another reload, and he's like, "Guys, you're all dead."
So it seems like, you know, having the pressure gone from Lotus changes their mindset somehow. Because that is a team of Lotus that so far we haven't really seen perform. But here they are now to step up.
Or Ping just can't handle the pressure.
That might be the case as well, yeah. Ping is now in the situation that Lotus was in and failed. Where it's like every round you lose now is going to cost you phase 2. So let's see how they deal with it.
Very decisive round, this one. Very decisive. Ping needs 2 points. Lotus needs a divine intervention.
Or just an intervention, who knows.
Maybe they could bribe the admins. I heard Keyhand can be bought.
3 Lambos and Amias.
Out of touch. As per usual. I don't know. I feel like Lotus wins this. I don't know why. Just got the...
Probably. It kind of feels like that, right? And then, of course, the sensation of the last match of the day would be kind of gone. I mean, for both of those teams there, it's also points that they carry forward in towards phase 2, but it wouldn't be as dramatic anymore. Dramatic is the lineup by Lotus, though, but finally it's being switched out around like this. They have the possibility to eliminate Ping as well, to drag them down into the abyss that they already are in. Lotus with an RHM double for Spee, Centurion Action X, CS63, WZ5A, T57, E100, that was 8 tanks, but that was because something was switched.
Ping, on the other hand, a lot simpler. 4 T57s, actually make that 5, a CS63 and an E50M.
Lineup for lineup, what do you prefer? Lotus with the more specialized tanks, or Ping with the autoloader Boogaloo?
I actually like Lotus's lineup also because I don't think CS going to the mid-strike is actually like a good thing in general. Like, I don't think it's like that great because you can get stuck there, but it's good against a team that wants to push you with like 7 tanks in the same location where you can just blow one up with the strike, you know.
Once again, Sir Jacob is going to go on towards the strike. This time around, he is also going to stick it, but Alex has joined him there as well, as the T57s in the cap get found. Stone already putting in 2 shots. And now the T57s are going to form a sort of pincer maneuver. So Jacob and Alex in the middle of the map are completely going to get found. The strike goes down on them as well. And that was 2 tanks gone, destroyed in seconds.
Ow. That was actually very, very good. But you can see those 57s are still driving through the open. Milo popping in with ability, starting to clip out against David. And the 57, it has great DPM, but the Forge Bees have great burst. And there you can see that as well. They pick up that player immediately. Now Adi is coming in with Miko. They want to get Stone probably as the target here. He's starting to get clipped out a little bit. He's down towards 600. Can they get him? It does look like they'll be able to get him down as well. He's down towards the one-shot. Light coming in now as well. Looking with the mouse, doing mouse things, squashing like Milo, blocking Miku. A strike coming in there. Not even sure which team it is from. It is actually from the Ping side. But look at the results, Gihan. It's 5 tanks left standing for Lotus, and it's only 4 from Ping, who finally pick up Stone. But Milo already back off, reloading his first B. Rishek picks up Adi, and just like Lotus's dreams were shattered of making it into a further stage in the OLS, it looks like Ping is gonna go down with them. They might be drowning, but they're making sure that Ping doesn't reach the surface either.
Exactly, dragging them down in towards the abyss of tournament elimination. Lotus, after being eliminated, suddenly start playing Don't Miss a Beat, 3 back-to-back rounds. I think this might even be their first victory in the OLS. But they get that victory when it matters the least. So both teams tragically for them with this result will be eliminated. And Yogurt are probably going to be like, hell yeah.
They need to start thinking about points to make it to the playoffs. Their focus shifts from survival to further survival.
Yeah.
It's still survival, but it tastes a lot better than the previous one, you know?
I mean, as soon as you know that you're not fighting for immediate survival anymore, I think that takes a lot of pressure off of you. Although for them, it's not going to get easier. Like with Lotus and Ping being eliminated, those are 2 teams that a lot of the other teams generated a lot of points against, if you know what I mean. Yeah. The opponents now in every single round are going to get harder and harder and harder.
You're saying now Yogurt is going to be the play toy for the rest of the league to get some points against, potentially? The beef.
I mean, it might be. Yet then again, like in phase 2, Yogurt is going to get to play cashback again. And those have been kind of handing out points left, right, and center towards teams on the lower end of the scoreboard. So yeah, I mean, it looked cool at the start, right? With those T57s blowing up 2 tanks, but all of a sudden then the entire Lotus lineup comes in and it's like, well, hello, we're only 5 that are remaining, but we have 2 Forge Bees.
Yeah, the Forge Bees did very good in this, but not just the Forge Bee. Rishek also having a good match, but yeah, I liked the move though from Ping, you know, like sandwiching, but then at the same time, they're putting themselves so close to the Lotus lineup.
I think they were, like, the sandwich idea was good, It was just that then the T-57s, after clipping out, kind of remained stationary and got pushed upon. Instead, they just need to keep driving, keep mobile, keep away from the opponents. I think that was sort of the biggest issue for them. But yeah, this was Lotus against Ping. A lot of decisions have been made, and for both of those teams that you see above our heads, it's going to be the end of the road in the AMD OLS Season 3. But when we're back, we have another match coming up. It's going to be Mafia against Yogurt, so stay tuned.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Well, hello there, and welcome back for the last match of the day, and the last match for some time, as this one marks the end of Phase 1. We'll be back on the 13th of May, so quite some time for teams to adjust to the mid-season balance patch that is coming. And we see two teams here, one of them, Mafia, probably hungry for points, and Yogurt, for them, the primary target of the day, or the primary objective, has already been achieved for them. It's now secondary objectives.
Yeah, and like we talked about, Kihan, it's for them very, very good that for Yogurt it's good that Ping won, right? Because let's be real, it is indeed a lot less pressure on them.
It is a lot less pressure. Then again, they are going to be pressured hard by this team of Mafia that you see here on the picture. A lot of them have been to China. There, for some of them, their dreams got crushed in that, I guess, infamous semi-final. They were playing with Storm there, where they had it all, and then it was all stolen away from them by their Polish buddies of Hit. As we see a team of Yogurt, and I think it's fair to say that they have performed above expectations by making it to Phase 2. So congratulations already to them, but now, seeing as they are in this Phase 2 now, maybe they can make something happen.
A lot of possibilities, but in predictions, Dokihan say that Mafia is the heavy favorite, and I would agree with that. Mafia is the heavy favorite in this match. They are a very, very consistent team.
Yeah, indeed. They have performed very, very well against teams that are kind of at the bottom of the leaderboard, and they have always put up good fights, winning some of the matches against the teams that are kind of supposed to be their equals in skill. Still, Mafia is one of those teams, like, they always perform well, but they never excel, kind of thing.
Gono here, EBR player, very annoying, extremely experienced at the rat tactics, Gehand.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think he's going to be rat jamming when he's playing EBR? Listening to Deja Vu or something like this?
But yeah, Mafia lost twice this season, Keyhand, so far. But there's a heavy but there. Who did Mafia lose against, Key?
Ooh, I need to look that up, actually. Mafia man, Liquipedia is such a dream scenario. Mafia losing, well, to Cashback and W.
And like, one of them was in tiebreaker against W, where it really could have gone either way. So they haven't had any drop against lower teams, which you would consider Yogurt one off. And let's see if Yogurt is able to do that again.
Let's see. Maps first of all, Darky. The light of day shines on towards Ghost Town, which is going to be the first one that will be played after Cliff and then Square taken out. So Yogurt don't want to play the map that I think they beat Cashback on against Mafia, interestingly enough. And they are responding with the Studzianki pick. Then Pilsen, Sand River, Westfield, Morovanka are gone. And the tiebreaker, I mean, most iconic map in World of Tanks, at least in my opinion, it's going to be good old Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a slower match, Toki, huh? Goes down Studzianki, unless Mafia put up the pressure, but they don't seem to be that kind of team this season. They don't really do those quick YOLOs, you know?
I think Hit have proven that Ghost Town can be a quick map.
Yeah, sure.
Thinking back to, I think, last stream day, who was it they were fighting against? I think it was Yogurt. And, I mean, Hit just won in, I think, total game time for Ghost Town, less than 4 minutes. So, that was 2 rounds, not 1. Mafia might be looking for the same thing. Maybe they saw something by Yogurt. Well, there were a lot of issues that Yogurt had, but Mafia, I guess, keeps wanting to exploit on that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if both teams go towards the cap, it can of course be a quick game, Kian. That's very possible. But Mafia just this season doesn't strike us as the kind of team that goes too aggressive. That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I voted 3-1. No, just to be clear.
You voted 3-1?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm the odd one out.
Yeah, it's a 3-1. It's all good.
Okay, let's assume you did the 3-1. Then I'm going to be the odd one out. I'm saying it's going to be a clapping of sorts, 3-0. All the 3 of you then going with a 3-1. Let's see. I think it's one of those cases where before the match you kind of go into it as making the predictions, and you're like, yeah, if I could put 3 to 0.5, that'd be great.
But that's not how predictions work, though, Kian. I just don't see Mafia drop points against a team like Yogurt.
No, they were too stable.
They also don't YOLO. They don't really YOLO if you're Mafia, which is good against this kind of teams like Yogurt that you just want to outplay on skill.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, I might be wrong.
Triple BZ for Mafia, 1 IS7, 1 CS, double Bliska.
Yogurt in return though, triple BZ, an IS7, double T57 heavy, and a bat. No light tanks.
No light tanks across the board for either team. This smells like quick cap by both of them. I think we are going to have a fun time casting.
Yeah, I think I prefer Yogurt's lineup though.
Yeah, I think so too. Obviously, the Bliskowitzers going into this one, they have crazy DPM in close range shootouts, but the T57 does have that burst. The Bliska can mitigate the incoming damage, but the other tanks cannot. And the T57s can probably pick and choose who they clip out upon as the BZs see each other. Who is going to go with the ballsy play? It's going to be Quick boosting in towards the cap, but taking 2, make that 3 shots and 2,000 damage on top of that. So that was a costly cross.
Now, the press and Liquor trying to peek, but they don't really have anything to clip out. The good thing here for the side of Yogurt, though, as you see Conrad ticking up in the damage, you want to know what that is? That's a back shot from Love from the back lines farming, and that I think realizes Mafia now that they have to go forward. YOLO arriving to make the shot is going to push in together with Barkis picking up the kill. Now the T57 is being pressured back as well. Mafia realizing the potential of that back shot if left unchecked. That quick reload are now going to be pressuring up. They get a good strike as well. They're still playing from the cap, and now it's on to Yogurt to find a way back in.
Yeah, Yogurt, they have 1 gun less, and they also have less HP. This is kind of a problem. Mindbreaker and Humble now peeking in towards Yuzek and Orzek, as the trade's not really going either way here. All of the 4 tanks penetrating their respective shots, but this means that elsewhere on the map, Mafia should be making that gun advantage count. The T57 of Depressed taking a baby strike by the CS as well. Kono is now going to try and cross over. Lovey in that bad chat will have to do some clip magic as Yuzek still survives in the BZ. Orzek trying to shield, but now boosting out, realizing that Yuzek is probably not going to make it. 2 bounces by Lovey though. Big rams in towards the bad chat. Finally Yuzek explodes, but I think it is too little too late. Yogurt is not down and out of it yet though.
No, but that bad shot clip key and those misses are very costly because it allowed Yuzek to do another shot as well. Mindbreaker now coming in with a ram, but in the return they lose numerous tanks. The T57 heavy, the IS7 as well, and it was a close affair though. But that bad shot Kihan, the pivotal point of Yogurt, he comes in, he tries to make the shot, he doesn't succeed, and then he just kind of explodes. That was the worst thing that they could have seen happening. And now Profuse getting healed by Orchek will not be a one-shot. Humble missing as well. Profuse will do at least 1 more big hit for 800, and that will seal the deal here for the side of Mafia. Kono with the strike, Barkis with a kill, and Liquor the last one standing, who gets picked up by Kono. It is going to be Mafia stabilizing things, but there was opportunities for Yogurt to make a difference.
Yeah, it was a slow and grindy shootout here in the first round on Ghost Town, but I think all things considered, Mafia looked like the more experienced, more mature team.
I think Love has the game like in his hand there and decided to like quickly toss it away, because he comes in, I think, with maximum ability at that point as well. But definitely no possibility to pick up kills, shots everywhere. He comes in, he misses, I think, first 2 shots, and then they turn on him, right? They turn on him with the BZs, they turn on him with the Bliska, and he just explodes. And he would win that game for them if he's allowed to do the damage. Because when we look at it, I'm pretty sure he's going to have like 3k roughly, maybe 2-3k. But then you're going to see like Kono, for example, in the CS63 having 4.3 in its counterpart medium, like carry tank, right? Because the bat is a carry tank for Yogurt's side, and so is the Bliska, and the Bliska does it.
Yeah, Profuse, outstanding, 5.3k damage and 2 kills to his name. Also, it's very important that Kono picks up a lot of those kills, because a lot of the tanks on the Mafia lineup actually with big alpha, but that also means big reload. And yeah, Quick, the first one on the cap, and he didn't really have the best of games. It probably was FC call to still go in and commit, and of course, as a player at that point, you do it. But him dying so early on with no real response, if you have a gun discrepancy in such shootout situations, then of course it's bad for the team with less guns. But it gets worse if the gun discrepancy doesn't immediately get taken back, right? Because the longer it goes, 7 versus 6 guns are going to be having more DPM. So yeah, I think the problem for Yogurt being that they just weren't able to equalize the gun, and there Mafia was like, all right, we're up a tank. That means we just keep brawling. Everyone needs to be in the fight. We have more effective DPM. We win the round. Easy GG.
Of course, Toki, again, that bad shot really had the game in his hand, Amo. You know, you might be a gun down, but that bad shot becomes so potent in the late game with that clip, with the ability. Yeah, it's a moment of oversight, not mature enough. And Mafia, you know, I'm surprised he even went for this quick aggression play, but normally they're a way more control team. Maybe they're trying to surprise Yogurt. But you can see how those kind of scenarios lead potentially more into a game where Yogurt can actually play and compete than a slow, drawn-out game. I think Yogurt should always lose out against Mafia, right? I think if the game goes long, Mafia will win it most of the time. Yogurt is trying to prevent that. But when Mafia plays into their hand, you do get scenarios like this where you're like, could have gone different.
Yeah, it could have gone differently. But Mafia, I think, with the experience, just rocking it home for themselves in this round. Number 1, captain's rating, once again, lower is better. And Yogurt being at almost double the score of Mafia tells you kind of everything you need to know about the perception of those teams. Mafia expected to make it in towards playoffs, maybe place 3, maybe place 4, whereas Yogurt have already exceeded expectations. They were, the captains basically thought Yogurt was one of those feeding or farming teams that were going to get knocked out, but they have beaten the expectations. They will be still with us for Phase 2 at the very least, but given what we are seeing currently from Yogurt, it kind of has me worried for Phase 2.
They need to step up the level again, Kiant. You know, beating Cashback is all really cool and all, but if that's all you got...
Yeah, it's not enough. Winning 1 match per phase is... It's not gonna rescue you.
Now I guess they're aiming for 5th, right?
Yeah, I mean, 5th would already be money. And who doesn't like money, right? Mafia, first of all, though, are going to come into this with a can opener, kind of signature Ghost Town pick. A 277, a Batchat, a CS, a Leopard 1, and double light tank, EBR and RHM.
Yogurt in return, I see they're trying to force the quick game. Double I7, quad T57, and a 1-1B.
Yeah, I think quad T57 is already where
Marcel
it becomes
hits
too
shot,
much, right?
If Marcel gets a mini strike, they're not capping.
I think the Leo only needs 1 shot of damage to activate that, right?
I think so.
I have to admit, I haven't played any Leo 1 in this season.
I think your teams are very thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, E100 or Batchat.
But it's also CS63 though, you know, Conrad will also have a strike.
He is going to secure the strike on the outside immediately. The can opener is also going to drive there, will probably, if necessary, make a shield. But yeah, Rachmedek peeking into this, and
Marcel
this means that the Leopard 1 does have the strike. So there will be 2 strikes available, one of them being the baby strike.
3 strikes. Conrad will get a baby strike out of the big strike as well. So Marcel strike, Conrad big strike, and then small strike, and YOLO now big strike as well. 4 strikes. They are not capping this.
No, that seems to be an unlikely option. Also, on the outside, the RHM of YOLO has taken another big strike as well. He has the level 2 plane to play with too, and they could even, if they wanted to, try and go for an info tower, which is what, well, Kono is already completely behind enemy lines. This looks like the Wild West, and the natives have surrounded the fort of Yogurt.
They're gonna go for the scan opener, but they're gonna be drawn into crossfire. Yusek not even clipping out against the I7 will establish into a 0, and Conrad getting spotted out, and the CS63 takes
do for his trouble, but the Leo is far away, the 277 is far away. Where do they push? Where do they go? Ramadek now suddenly got clipped out by Yuzek as well. The strike starting to come in, the first 800 on Quick and Humble, the second 800 as well, and Orchek is now getting clipped out, but still, the triangle of doom, those orange tanks, look at the positions they're keeping. Barkas is the one that needs to be most careful, I think, in that 277, because you could see them turn around for him. He needs to make sure he doesn't get caught. Ramadek is having the game of his life there, just absolutely dying without doing anything. And Liquor might try to peek Orchek, but this is going to be costly as well.
This is going to be costly, and the can opener actually, I think, is hull down there. This is where Liquor is reconsidering, and so he should. Minus 2.5k. Kono picks up Rachmedik as well. This is Mafia in a very controlled fashion, just bleeding out Yogurt.
And this is the kind of Mafia that I was expecting to see in round number 1, but you get them on round number 2, far away in the right positions, holding, waiting, and seeing them come in. And Barkas was the one that could get caught there maybe a little bit, and they did for like 1k damage, but it's not enough. I mean, they will find the Barkas, right? He will not burn either. Depressed, you need to finish him, right? Okay.
I mean, Depressed turning around now. I think he wanted to keep his shots for possibly other tanks, but that's not going to happen, as we see, and he is also slowly now dying against the light tanks. Orchek almost got off another shot, not that it really matters that much, because Mafia are now in full control of this second game on a Ghost Town here. The favorites, I think, so far delivering.
Yeah, this is a good game for Mafia. They really controlled the angles. They never made the mistake of coming too close, but that's also just because of the comfort that they had in this battle. CS Strike, Mini Strike, so with that. CS Mini Strike, Leo Mini Strike, Kono behind resetting already. 2 big strikes on top of it, which of one of the big strikes will give another Mini Strike because of the amount of points it will decap. It's resulting into a game where you're like, as long as we don't go close with too much, we cannot lose. We cannot lose.
I mean, it was, after the opening, always going to be a losing scenario for the side of Yogurt, and we just saw what happens if a team gives up too much of the neutral objectives that are scattered around the map. And on Ghost Town especially, there's a lot of those. So only 2 tanks really dealing damage on the side of Yogurt, and that just goes to show how methodical, how careful the team of Mafia was playing this. I think this was perfectly executed against what Yogurt were doing. They were fully in control at every single stage in this game.
Super in control. I mean, across the board, good damage spread as well. Nobody really lagging behind. And if you're Yogurt there, you know, life's tough. Life's real tough.
Now this means Mafia's pick of Ghost Town goes their way completely. 2-0. And I think in both rounds, Mafia, just demonstrated that at least on Ghost Town, they are the better team, period. However, Yogurt have picked Studzianki, and given that before this day, Yogurt didn't know how important the match was going to be, you could assume that maybe Yogurt has something prepared.
Maybe I meant 3-0 prediction anyways, Kian. You know, it was on screen, so that's what we're going with, right? No?
Well, I guess you're going to make up your mind after this next round.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know if Studzianki hasn't really lent itself towards these plays either, Kian, of like trying to force a quick engagement. So if Yogurt tries again, I feel like Mafia would be ready.
Ever since the nerf of the Juggernaut TDs, forcing the issue immediately via the cap has not become as viable anymore. So let's see. I think Mafia is also one of those teams that really doesn't mind playing a long game of Studzianki, for example, with a Gorilla. We'll see what we get, because I mean, Yogurt, they must have had a reason for picking this map. Maybe they think they can somehow counter the Gorilla that I think Mafia is very likely to bring here. Then again, if a team is likely to do something, then they can play around that fact and maybe do something different on purpose.
Sure, maybe Mafia pressures the cap quickly, Kian. What do you think about that?
They did that essentially already on Ghost Town 1, where everyone, or well, both of us were like, okay, it's most likely going to be slow and controlled from Mafia, but fast cap strategy immediately from them. Looking at this, it looks more like a lineup that wants to exploit mistakes that Yogurt potentially does. A singular BZ, triple T57, a Centurion AX, a 430U, and an EBR, but who can really tank on this lineup?
Nobody. Really. Who do you use to tank? I mean...
I mean, there is no tank like Yogurt has, where the E100...
The BZ, I guess, still has to tank in one of the 57s.
I don't like it, really. Also, we have double light tank against singular 1. Kono in the EBR is going to play the 1v2, and Kvik opts to not use his plane. So, they don't know what they're playing against. This might be perfect for Mafia, because we can obviously see their goal here is to get up close and personal very, very early on, as Kono gets the better of Liquor for now with Love in that Hurricane on the strike. But I think Mafia, they see something tasty to push upon.
Yeah, YOLO's going for it now in that BZ. Kono finding Liquor as well in that EBR. YOLO now pushing in on towards the Hurricane. Conrad following up as well, but he needs to be careful in that 430U. He'll make it on a one-shot, but he might even die for that. The press doesn't have any shells available once again for the Ram, but look at the damage! They do find Conrad, but at what cost will it be? They lose that T57. Bark is now trying to make the clip to help out YOLO, and that's good enough, actually. Liquor, in the meantime, losing the 1v1 against Kono. YOLO is going to own this Hurricane, or should Mindbreaker coming in to try and shield, but it will not be the case, as Mafia do indeed find that little snack, the EBR Hurricane. The press threw everything he had towards that, and now Mindbreaker will find YOLO, but Yuzek and Barkus, they're hunting, but what are they really hunting for? Barkus needs to be careful with his HP. Can they really find something?
Can they find something? Well, Mafia is currently finding a lot of success here because they are close towards the enemy tanks, but one T57 is reloading and now Yuzek falling. Marcel needs to go for the pickup and he does get it on towards the T57, but now Orzek has arrived to completely feast upon Humble's HP. Marcel might be able to pick up that E100 as he does, so all of a sudden it is a 4 versus 2, but Mindbreaker still very healthy in the 430U, and now Orzek coming in to shield Barkis in the T57. Barkis going down towards one shot. He is going to make his 2 remaining shells, and Orzek now reloaded, needs one more and does get it against Mindbreaker. Only Quick remains on the lineup of Yogurt.
Yeah, and he does not have the DPM to kill a full T57 heavy. An HE shell coming in already from Kono, and it is going to be the scoreline of 3-0 for Mafia against Yogurt. Yogurt may have put themselves into the second phase, Kihan, but their troubles are only just starting.
Their troubles are just starting, but still, for Yogurt, it is going to be an okay day overall. The main target has been achieved. They are confirmed in the second phase of the AMD Onslaught Legends series. But yeah, for Mafia, just another business day at the office. 3-0, clean sweep. Thank you for making my prediction entirely correct, guys.
Oh wait,
and,
mine is alright, Kian. Mine is
yeah. You'd think that. You'd want that now. No. Yours was 3-1.
It's okay, I already caught up to Phil, you know. You may have caught up to Moff again.
Was I behind?
Oh, no. You may have extended your lead on Moff by a point.
Oh, good. By a point.
Actually, more, because Moff predicted W to win. True.
Well.
Well.
But yeah, first of all, let's take a very quick look at the post-battle stats. Not that it should come as a surprise that, you know, tanks that are in the battle for longer deal a lot of damage, and Mindbreaker certainly was trying to put the team on his back with 6.7k, but no one else really showing up that much. Humble with 3k, and then it just goes completely downhill from there.
Yeah, and you know, Kono winning that fight initially just gets them a lot of freedom
in the later part of the game. Mindbreaker tried to bring it back, but it wasn't enough to bring them across the finish line. So, nonetheless, it was a good game from Mafia there. It was close at point, and I don't know why the press ended up pushing forward, you know?
Yeah, that was the biggest problem of sorts for the team of Yogurt, that they weren't able to get a second clip out of Depressed, the Hurricane getting found very early on, and then also that essentially Kono winning the 1v2 in the LT department, right? The RHM was nowhere to be seen for the team of Yogurt, and in the EBR one-on-one then, Kono just straight up won.
Yeah, Kvik didn't really have a big impact on this game. You're right, like we didn't really see him until the very, very end where he came in, so it is what it is though. Yogurt now, together with all the rest of the teams, and you and the viewers have a little bit of a break. Just just about 2 weeks.
Yeah, a little bit less than 2 weeks. We are going to come back on the 13th of May, which is going to be the kick-off day for phase number 2. Then we are going to skip one Thursday, but that is just because we have so much content to cover that I think we'll have to do it on the Saturday and Sunday of that week. Those are going to be very, very busy days with the OCS finals, with the OLF finals, and then obviously the weekend after with the OLS Grand Finals as well. That is sort of the schedule for now, but talking about schedule, we also have another announcement to make, and that is for all of you that really love historical streams. We'll have something from Bovington coming your way. And yeah, that is going to be the big historical stream coming to you from the Tank Museum on May 10th. So mark your calendars. It's going to be commemorating the 80th anniversary of VE Days. That's Victory in Europe Day. The stream starts at 15 UTC. That's 17 CEST. And of course, there will be more Twitch drops. So don't miss that and put it into your timesheets.
Yeah, of course, of the Tank Museum being an awesome place with a lot of historic artifacts and always pretty cool streams that they deliver as well. So it's just a nice place to have such a large collection of military vehicles, especially in running condition.
Yep. Then, of course, we do still have Twitch drops of our own ongoing in the OLS. And I think today is going to actually be a day where people are not going to be able to claim it entirely during the duration of this tournament stream. But do not worry, of course. The drops today are going to continue on Daki's stream. We are going to rate him after, and there you'll be able to claim the 5 OLS tokens, the rentals for Onslaught, for Badger, and 5A. And don't forget, go to the website as well. In the announcement article, you can claim yourself a rental E50M.
Yeah, and you saw a lot of E50Ms being played, so it's definitely not a bad tank whatsoever. From the 3 or 4 available, probably the best one. The standings now, though, ever so close since the defeats of W is coming in there. They're still first, Gihunt, right? But Hit has moved into position 2. Mafia stays about where they are, and Cashback closing the gap, at least on W in return. That gives us 4 teams within 1 point of each other.
It's going to be an extremely close affair, but maybe this was Cashback's plan all along. They saw that W won Season 2 by being in 4th place, and now this is where they're like,
the magical 4th
able
place
to go.
But also, we give more points in this phase 2, right?
Yes, yes.
So
the best offs are going to get increased to best of 7, and I think the points are going to move from 3 to 4.
3 to 4, which brings me to my next point, means that Darkside is 1 match away.
Yes.
From, it's everything is within a 1 match kind of reach, basically.
Yeah, for Yogurt, of course, it's 2 matches.
It's a bit more. But Darkside is the one I think we should watch out for. They have still potential to sneak in there if they do the upsets that they've done before. 1 match puts them equal to Mafia and Cashback, for example, So it's going to be interesting.
Especially if they possibly win a match against either of those teams, because that is going to mean that for this match then...
On top of potential tiebreakers, which we'll definitely be seeing, where the points get split, where, you know, teams don't really get ahead as much, because of course 4 points is if you win clean, but we've seen there's plenty of tiebreaker potential.
But that is going to conclude phase number 1. Daki, thank you very much for casting with me. Thanks also to the people behind the camera, the production crew, the observers, admins, gameplay directors, and also the other casters that we had here, Moth and External. Thanks very much to both of you. We are going to be back on May 13th, but as I said, on May 10th, don't miss out on the historical stream. And with that, last words go to you, Daki.
Well, if you want some more Onslaught content, Kian, I think there's something special happening on the 2nd as well, which you will be informed about later on as well. So if you want to watch 7 not-so-intelligent players play together with the chance of win some goodies, there is more Onslaught content coming your way. There always is. But for now, for phase 1, we'll say goodbye. We'll see you again for phase 2. Enjoy the break. We'll see you soon.
I have no idea when the last time was. Because it's not gonna be the Ukrainian team of Cashback, the Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 winners. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket and cleaning up Cashback.